It was such a contentious thing. I'm like, I don't care who wins, I just need to know that it's over. So that everyone will stop fighting. People are still fighting, it's not over. And like,
Tattoos on his arms, got red and then he run handlebars.
So when will I hear about my application?
Problematic, but my working in sales for a lot of years. Great for me, just living in bigger cities.
Anything else?
Very exciting, but
I think
it's probably not gonna catch up no good because that bus. I just got it done.
okay, see, I love smart.
Or celebrating things. Sometimes you guys are out there, so you gotta be sustainable.
I can't do nails because I will sit and I start taking it off.
Time, it's like,
Oh, no, I need to watch.
and probably, you got, for you to think of.
Oh.
And you always got in front of you, like French first, and always renovation first. That's really like, I would say. Probably not that, but dealing with enough people and having a sort of could certainly show us.
Yes.
Looks like an holiday. Oh, did it really? Swear, I changed it though.
Fine. All of your mics are off, by the way. Oh, I want to turn them on before we get started.
I turn mine off when I speak, because otherwise they can be breathing.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
All right.
I needed an agenda, but Steph is getting me one.
You ready?
Okay. Does he need one?
Yeah, today is not my day to be fun.
All right. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll take roll call.
Commissioner Atwood,
Present.
Commissioner Brady.
Present.
Commissioner Glistman.
Here.
Commissioner McCarthy. Here. Commissioner Petrie.
Here.
Mayor Hand.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with public comments. Remind the public that this is a 3-minute time limit for each public comment. Once you are recognized, please approach the podium, state your name and your address for the record. And when you hear the alarm sound, your turn is over. We'd ask you kindly, please return to your seat. Any, right here.
Leslie Getz, resident of Mayfield Township. With a great deal of leadership experience in church, union, and community organizations, I would like to throw out an idea for your consideration. It is possible to follow and enforce every rule and procedure, but do so in a way that divides people and causes dissension. This is not good leadership. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. Good leadership provides the environment and structure which allows people to best use their skills and knowledge for the common good. Good leadership encourages the expression of differing views. That is where fresh ideas and creative solutions come from. Good leadership provides a safe and encouraging atmosphere for all. I hope that all of you will reflect upon your role as leaders of this community.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll also remind the public that this is the only public comment time during this special meeting. There's not going to be a second one at the end. So if you have something to say, please do it now, right here in the back.
Eric Gajewski, resident of Benamor, Michigan. The city lied to the employees, including my union representatives. I was told I could not discuss any city business of any kind with any commission. I was told I could not speak at a meeting because I was not a resident. I just found out that this was not the truth on Saturday. So here I am. I've worked with every single city department and division. There are a lot of great people. But Mike is fostering a toxic work environment that is trickling down from the top and is a bully and abuses his power. I am a victim of this, and I have experienced firsthand with others as well. As a former city employee, that I was forced out 3 months ago because of a license misunderstanding that happened 11 and a half years ago. 11 and a half years ago. I stood next to a coworker, clearly shaken up. I could tell from 3 feet away. He had just got back from a meeting with Mike about a solution with ongoing pump problems. It turned out to be an application issue from the factory and not the fault of any action by a city employee. The coworker was not himself. I asked how it went. We can get new pumps, but I was told, don't let this happen again, implying that it was 100% his fault. Those words should only be used by your parents, not your boss, the person who could end your career. Those words, don't let this happen again, ended his career, subsequently retiring from the city because of that meeting, because of those specific words. Don't let this happen again. His abuse of power, negativity, and hostility is creating a work environment for self-preservation, not for the best of the city. As a contractor, I did work for the city for 13 years and employed by the city for over 19. You don't achieve over 32 years by being incompetent. It was all ended by a power-abusing bully. There are more incidents of abuse of power, and it's a pattern. We would not be here today if this was not his behavior. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Straight back.
Kenneth Kopnick, Oregon Township. I'm here today in support of Mr. Womack. I will say it flat out. Anybody that believes you can't do 32 years in a job and not have problems needs to go back to school. There's this little thing called the Peter Principle. You can be promoted laterally or up the ladder just to get you out of the way when you screw up. Now, at the last special meeting, the word sexual harassment came up and everybody went, oh heavens. Well, after that meeting, I asked Mr. Womack right in front of his attorney if anybody from Bodmin had talked to him about the accusations, the investigation, whatever was going on. And I was told no. He could have told me it was none of my business. After that meeting, I talked to several people in the audience, women of various ages, social stature, and I asked them if there was 2 people that you had to look at, Mr. Womack or Mr. Hing, and be alone in a room, where would you feel safe? And guess what, Mr. Hing? You lost.
Thank you.
You lost your pen there, buddy.
Oh, it wasn't. It's
Right there.
It's on the stand.
Glad you got that off your chest. Sounds like it was critical.
It's enough.
Mr. Mayor, that gentleman made comments similar to that last time. I think you should find him out of order. This is now the second offense in subsequent.
I wish you had that fervor for everybody who was out of order. Mr. Brady, I'm not gonna do
Point of
anything
order.
about it.
Point of order.
What's the rule being broken?
The audience member is not to make comment without being recognized
Yeah,
by
and
the chair.
I asked him, I said, that's enough, and he just continued, so. we're
Asking
good.
you to find him out of order.
I'm not going to, thank you.
I appeal the ruling of the chair.
Mr. Schwartz? Yeah, we have an appeal and support. Is there gonna be any discussion? All right. The appeal of the decision of the chair will take roll call.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
No.
Commissioner McCarthy,
No.
Commissioner Petrie.
No.
Motion fails.
Mr. Mayor, point of inquiry.
Go ahead.
Does that mean that it's okay for any audience member
I
to
would
make
like to
any
speak out without
commentary
being called
whenever they
out.
would like to?
Please call me out of order. Call me out of order. No, we can do this now? This is how we do it?
Can you please state your name for the record?
No. He didn't. Who's he? We don't know who he is.
My point of inquiry is if.
I'm here to
any-
speak. I
I
want to talk.
understand
I
you'll
know
be
the call done.
I asked him
Call
to,
me out of order.
I asked him to stop and he stopped. Now I'm gonna ask you to stop. Yes, please stop.
Am I out of order?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You continue after I've asked you to stop.
Thank you.
Ms. Sanchez, do you have this individual recorded as out of order?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Do you have the name?
I do not.
All right. You can state your name for the record.
Mine.
Yes,
My name.
yes.
You'll know when I do my public comment.
All right. 16, 417. Let's see.
Point of inquiry.
One moment, Mr. Brady. Go ahead.
What's your line there? What's your determining factor between out of order and not out of order?
As presiding officer, when I address somebody who is out of order or breaking a rule, I gave a fair warning to knock it off. He stopped speaking. I didn't have to pursue it any further. But when members continue to be disorderly in conduct after given a fair warning, then we will address it on record. All right. Now, I don't have to extend that courtesy to anyone, but I do. And I'm not going to be questioned over it because it's my authority to do so.
So kind
And you can appeal my authority, and then we'll continue from there. Anything else?
Yes, the gentleman of my first inquiry was last week out of order in similar fashion, and you failed to give a warning at that time. Can he receive a warning now?
No. It should have happened.
Okay.
It should have happened contemporaneously, not a week later. We're not going to do this.
Mr. Hink, for the
This is
record-
public comment time. I'm going to find you out of order if you continue to be
Would you take the gentleman's
dilatory.
name? Would you take the gentleman's name or ask his?
Listen, I'm telling you, if you continue, I will find you out of order. You're being dilatory. That's your warning. Any others for public comment? Right here.
John DeAngelis, Benmore Township. I'm also a canvasser, and I'd just like to say that Ramona, your clerk, did a fabulous job, as she always does. I hope you're not tired of hearing that after every election. So I'm certainly not tired of telling you folks that. Well done, Ramona. I'd also like to comment about Mr. Womack. I have something here which I FOIA, what is the exit interviews from people that have left. And question number 3 is, were you comfortable talking to your manager about work problems, issues, and if not, please explain why? No, I was afraid the city manager was going to twist anything I said and write me up, causing me to get fired right before my retirement. I've mentioned this before. Mr. Brady and Mr. Atwood, I don't know what Mr. Womack would have to do for you guys to say he's not a great guy. It looks like you will do anything, especially you, Mr. Atwood, to help him. You wouldn't even let him go in closed session. Then you complain about how much money the Bodman Group is charging you. Well, guess what? They're back here today because you wouldn't go in closed session. So that was all, what are you shaking your head no about? That's exactly what happened. You know it. Everybody here knows it. You know, you complain like it's costing too much money, but you cost it more money. Look, there's 2 of them here today. Hope you're happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Right here.
Sheila Maryland, Lapeer City. Any one of us adults in this room have worked under management that we might have not have agreed with at any one time. It's the way life goes. Things are not always going to go the way you want. We're seeing that right now here. So disgruntled employees that can come forward and share grievances in order to take a man away from his job, who many people think he's doing quite a well job, is so ridiculous. And it screams of another agenda. Coming in here with the sole purpose of changing things to the way you want them to be, Mr. Hain. You've got your girls here that vote for you on everything. They don't use critical thinking. They don't appear to have any sense of what's really happening. And it makes me very sad to see the way this is all going. And the laughter that's coming from Ms. Petrie tonight, there's nothing funny about what's happening. I've seen you. I'm sure the other people here have seen you as well. You don't hide your facial expressions very well. Your eyebrows, you go up. So, my boss was just fired from a job that he was doing. Was he the best boss ever? No, he wasn't. But he got a ticket over a year ago, and they found out about it, and he had to lose his job because of it, because it didn't work within their programs. So whatever happens with management and employees, it's really, there's a lot more always to it. So taking words of disgruntled employees and using it to move your agenda forward to put whoever you want into these positions is so arrogant, it's so wrong. I don't know how you sleep at night. I really don't. I feel sorry for so many of us right now because we are being faced with a situation of this nature. Do I want to be here on a Monday night with you guys? No. Will I stay here on Monday nights with you guys? You bet you will. Because I love this town. I believe in this city. And I stand with this city. So you guys got to get it together. You, Mr. Hain, have to find a new way to manage people. As she said earlier, management starts at the top and you bring up your people. You don't tear them down. Nothing will be accomplished by tearing people down. So you have a chance at taking a breath. You represent a very diverse community, not just a very narrow-minded group. You need to be aware of that. All of you need to be aware of that. You represent a whole community with lots of different thoughts, lots of different joy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any others? Mr. Schwartz.
Good afternoon, Stephen Schwartz, Farmington Hills, Michigan. If you look at the Bodman investigation, with respect to the allegations of sexual harassment, the only conclusion you can logically draw is those allegations were completely unfounded. If you read the investigative report in conjunction with Mr. Womack's response, you find that there's no basis to conclude that there was retaliation. The only thing you can conclude is that there were two former employees who had an axe to grind. One who he terminated for just cause, the other whom he reprimanded, and there was no grievance challenging those reprimands. Mr. Womack has a valid enforceable employment contract with the city, which your predecessors adopted. There is no just cause, and your lawyers, if you go into closed session, will tell you, there's no just cause as defined by that contract to terminate him. Mr. Womack will resign and sign a full comprehensive release if he receives his contractually entitled severance package and reimbursement for his attorney fees. And then you can move on. If you terminate him, since it's going to take him a long time to find another city management job, because that's the way it works, and he has a family to support, you're forcing him to sue you. I don't think this type of lawsuit gets covered by your insurance, so you're probably paying $600 an hour for counsel to represent you in that lawsuit. Your counsel's gonna tell you if you go into closed session, that type of lawsuit is not gonna get dismissed by the judge after 9 months of discovery and depositions. It's gonna go to a jury trial. And your counsel's not gonna tell you in closed session that you're gonna guarantee a win or you have a strong likelihood of winning. It's whatever the jury does. So let's move on. He will sign a release. Everybody moves on. Pay him his severance, reimburse him for his attorney fees, and you can pick someone you want to be your next manager.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Right here.
Hello, Gigi Griffith. I first just wanted to say that I wanted to congratulate and thank Ramona and her staff for all the hard work they did this election. It is always a hard job. She was just saying she was here until 2 a.m., which is incredible. I'm so grateful for her work and her efforts. Personally, I've always wanted to work in election. I took the steps to fill out paperwork to be a poll worker for the general election, and I had a few questions about paperwork. I wanted to make sure I was filling it out correctly. Ramona took time out of her day during the election to make sure I did that correctly, her and her staff, which was so kind, and it meant so much to me that they would take time during such a busy time to help me. And then secondly, on a more sad note, this whole situation with Womack in the city is an embarrassment. I cannot say whether or not the allegations are valid or not. It is not my place to say. I would never suggest that. I would never suggest another woman's claims are not valid, and I refuse to do that. However, I will say the way that this has been handled has been such an embarrassment. I am ashamed to say I live in Lapeer right now, which is nothing I thought I would ever feel. I am ashamed with the way we have handled this. I am ashamed at the idea, just the whole way this has been treated and handled, and the idea that we are going to potentially be sued over this if we do not handle this correctly. I think that is something that needs to be thought about, and I can't imagine wanting to work here if you don't decide to fire him, having gone through all of this. I'm at a loss for words, really, and I'm not usually at a loss for words. This whole thing has just been atrocious. I feel terrible for Mr. Womack. I feel terrible for his family. I feel terrible for the person who was involved in this. I feel terrible for everyone. But the way you guys have handled this has been atrocious, and I think you could have done better. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but I do think we could have handled this better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? All the way back.
Karen Borshako, president of the county. So Blissman, did you vote on your husband? That seems like a conflict of interest to me. I want to note for the audience, everyone watching at home, that we have 4 officers. There are 2 in the hallway last I looked, and then we have 2 in the room. And I'd like to know, was there some sort of threat? Why that raise? I mean, that's a lot of manpower for this room. So when I read through Womack's, and I've heard some things around town, but I read through Womack's rebuttal to these charges. And Mr. Hing here, by the way, I just want to remind you guys, you don't have to take detailed notes because there's a video. Although I don't think Wes Weber should be sitting by the video machine, just to note that. But anyway, Mr. Hing called this a 7. I don't know if maybe Mr. Hing has never met someone in the restaurant industry because and I don't work in the restaurant industry, but for most of my jobs, this would be regular Tuesday stuff that I read. Did you work at Utopia? I'm just confused as to where you work that this would be a 7. Most of us deal with bigger stuff than that on a daily basis. So my main thing as I read through all the exhibits from the eval that Mr. Hing did, all those pages, his eval itself, was petty. That was the #1 word that came into my mind. And then when I read the rebuttal and all of that investigation, petty stuff. And so, again, the judgment here just really seems very much off. when someone goes to the doctor and the doctor discovers a tumor because this person's having symptoms, the doctor doesn't say, hey, you need to tell all your cells and organs to just accommodate that tumor. Deal with that tumor. Make room for it. Get along with that tumor. That's not how it goes. The doctor says, we're going to cut that out. We're going to do chemo. We're going to do radiation, whatever is necessary. Because people keep saying that everyone needs to get along up here, but I don't think that's right. I think one person needs to go. Absolutely, that's when the change. And Petrie apparently can't see that. She thought Atwood just automatically changed or something around November. It's really bizarre to watch all of this happen. And McCarthy, you said a whole bunch of stuff in the last meeting. I transcribed it today and that took a long time that I just want to take issue with. I'll probably have to get into it next time. But, you know, you brought up the FOIA stuff and you said people don't have the right to have things handed to them by a friend. Absolutely we do. But I noticed you haven't brought up anything about Mr. Hing giving out documents that we would have had to FOIA on his website, his campaign website, which is a pretty big conflict of interest. You said you want to know who we should use our critical thinking skills and think about who benefits here. Are you aware that there are mental disorders, mental conditions where people benefit from bad feelings?
Thank you.
You might want to look those up.
Any others? In the back.
Hi, Passant Press. City of Lapeer.
Excuse me.
Last
Yes.
time I spoke,
Yes.
are we
One moment,
interrupting?
please.
We're interrupting?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Give your name.
My name
And your city.
It
is
okay.
not-
As a
you
rule by the
can't-
Constitution or your rule? Okay, should I keep going?
No.
No.
You should
Should I
give us
keep
your
going?
name
You
and
can
your
follow our
city.
policy or you,
And then
Your
if you're
policy
representing-
or the Constitution?
the policy.
The policy or the
You-
Constitution?
The Constitution allows you a right to be heard, you're being heard.
Correct,
but
and you
you're
do not
also
have the
gonna
right to
follow our
demand my
policies.
name.
You're gonna follow our policy.
No, I have the right to speak and you will listen. And do I have the right to speak? Am I?
I'm asking you to stop so we can deliberate now.
Okay.
Mr. Francis.
Mayor, our policies require, well, the Open Meetings Act allows for reasonable rules regarding public comment. And one of which is ours, is that we require a name. That's a lawful requirement.
Yeah, it's a lawful requirement. Very good. Thank you. You can provide
Start
your
over?
name for the record.
Okay, let's start over.
No, we're
My
not
name.
gonna start over. We're gonna pick up where you left off, but
Okay.
we're gonna start with
Okay.
your name going forward.
Jane Doe.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jane Doe. City of Lapeer.
I'm gonna
Last
stop
time
you one
I
more.
spoke.
I'm gonna
okay.
stop you one more.
You want to stop me again? All right.
Yeah,
okay.
just so I can,
I hope
just so
my
I
lawyer's
can
watching right
confer
now.
with
It's gonna be great.
our attorney.
Okay.
Mr. Francis.
We can require an actual name there. That's
Okay.
what our policies
My
require.
legal name?
Yes.
Okay. My legal name is Alexis. Okay. Full name? Social
Yes.
security number?
Full name,
Full name, social security number, address?
full name,
All has to be given.
full name.
Got it. My name is Alexis Maxine Hanks, City of Lapeer. Last time I spoke, I think there were things that were left unclear. I just want to be totally clear. Your rules mean nothing to me, okay? I finished what I had to say because I, as a real person, paid someone $50 to watch my toddler at home so I could be here to speak my mind. I decided in that moment that waiting a potential 7 hours to say my last 20 minutes was not worth it. It doesn't seem reasonable. Anyways, taking a man's livelihood is akin to killing him. Dave Chappelle said that. And in the spirit of comedy, I have prepared a short and lighthearted whimsical ode, a poem. So try to follow along. This is me expressing my feelings as someone who suffered an interaction with our dear mayor. Disrespectfully, this is entitled Tiny Vest. Fashion, Vogue. What says rogue? Dilatory, dilatory. I just want to rule the library. My job, I don't know, though I won't admit so. Doth not matter, no. Most important to me, what I shall wear on Mondays at 6 when I serve as head chair. A faux hat, a goatee, a 4T, a 5T, from Oshkosh and Carter's. 'Tis a vest I shall barter. Huzzah, yes, yes. A mayor's wardrobe no man shall detest. one very, very, very small vest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, any others? Straight back.
Okay, sorry, okay, sure. I'll go. Heidi Helfer, Lapeer. My first comments are for the Bodmin lawyer, Mr. Graves. I don't know if he's here, but I think you are. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure, Mr. Graves. Okay, regarding the meeting on July 20th, which dealt with the city manager's evaluation, I wanted to say that I'm sorry because I didn't get the chance to disparage your character the way you tried to disparage Mr. Womack's. Mr. Graves' intimations about Mr. Womack's character weren't just offensive, but slanderous, as well as completely unwarranted. He sat up there and passed judgment on someone he doesn't even know, and who never even had a chance to defend himself. He showed clear bias and poor judgment, and seemed to willingly take part in Mr. Hing's smear campaign against the city manager. These actions make anything he or anyone else at the firm says suspect, as he revealed his prejudice against the subject of his investigation. Also, I wanted to thank Ms. McCarthy for her openness at Mr. Womack's evaluation about her disdain for and bias against the city manager, because her complete lack of ethics was laid bare in a surprise attack on his abilities as a city manager. One complaint she made was that she got pushback from when she proposed certain ideas, as if pushback on ideas that he doesn't think would be in the best interest of this community aren't part of his job. He is the one who has to gauge and determine what will be the most beneficial to the city, and shouldn't be expected to act as a lapdog who unquestionably does her bidding. Finally, Mr. Hing. His decision not to allow Mr. Womack to speak and defend himself was appallingly unethical. His excuse for this was that there were several people speaking out of turn, and he says, I should have said that Mr. Womack could speak when addressed. As someone who's supposed to be in charge, this shows incredible incompetence. All too often, Mr. Hing has given into anger and emotion instead of dealing with issues in a reasonable and dispassionate manner. Always finding ways to turn legitimate concerns into a personal attack is not the sign of a good leader. And regarding his complaint that so many of us keep showing up at these meetings and saying what he views as hurtful things, when he stops taking actions that hurt this community, such as trying to remove a city manager who has competently performed his job, especially given the continued threatening atmosphere, then we'll consider stepping back. But not until then. To quote John Stuart Mill, philosopher, in the long run, the best proof of a good character is good actions. It would be helpful to our community if the mayor and his supporters would realize that their actions are far from good. The only members of this board who have shown a truly moral compass are Mr. Atwood and Mr. Brady. Their characters are the ones that should be emulated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Any others? Right here.
Geraldine Carson, Lapeer Township. I want to make a comment about some of the comments that are being read today. People talk about slanderous words. They talk about demeaning somebody. Well, they better learn that that's exactly what they're doing by commenting against this board. We are all people here. They have turned this into a circus. There's people sitting in the back, heckling, laughing, clapping, being very disrespectful, having their phones go off, and not being apologetic. They're not concerned about the people, all the people in this room. I think it's terrible that people disrespect the people. I respect all the people here. I have my point of view, but if anybody is slanderous and attacking character, it's these people that have gotten up here and made the comments they have made. And I think they better look when they start calling somebody slanderous or that they're not being very good in what they're doing, they better look at themselves, because that's exactly what they're doing. They are hateful, and they are terrible on the comments. They have not given anybody on this board a break. And I think things are being uncovered that are, I appreciate Mr. Hing and this board for bringing out. There are issues that needed to be addressed, and they're being addressed. And I think we have, as the people here in Lapeer, not only Lapeer City, but Lapeer County, need to realize that there are things that were not done correctly and are not done, and they're just sore because you've uncovered those things, and that's why they're personally attacking you. And I think that's ludicrous. You're doing your jobs, and I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, please.
No, sorry.
All right, any others? Right here in the gray.
Kelly Nolan, Lapeer Township. I'm going to read some comments that were spoken or stated by Mr. Mayor. The first one's from several from the League of Women Voters Candidate Forum. You were asked the question, how to promote a healthy community. Such a joke. You're going to invest in relationships, in listening. You're going to bring communication and transparency. Again, there should be transparency as well as accountability. I would advocate for clear communications and transparency, accountability at the leadership level, and for outlets or inlets for the community to be heard. Again, joke. Again, on September 12th from Facebook, one of your campaign statements, you're going to be restoring trust between citizens and their leaders. This campaign isn't about politics, it's about people, and it starts with you. And that is directed back at us, the public, the city. And October 2nd, ready to make wise decisions, restoring trust through transparent leadership, uniting city leaders so we can better serve our citizens. You claim, I don't claim to know everything, but I do know how to listen, learn, and lead with common sense. Oh my God. Leadership decisions should always serve the people, not personal or professional interests. That's why transparency and accountability are so important with city leaders. My focus is on restoring trust. By your own evaluation, you have failed. And the 3 women on the board, I don't know why you are blindly following this man. Like Commissioner Atwood said, you really need to take the wool from your eyes because he is leading you down the wrong road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? Right here.
Good evening. I'm John Lyons. I live in Mayfield Township. I'm a past resident of the city of Lapeer, the past director of public works for 17 years. I sat on the commission for 4 years. Mr. Atwood, I believe, is sitting in my seat. Not anymore. I'm not coming back. Don't you worry. My first meeting that I came and listened, I was very upset. I went home and I wrote a very long dissertation. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, it was too long. I read it. My wife said, "You gotta calm down." Okay? And I do. You, all of you, everyone at that table up there, the attorneys sitting on the side, the city employees that are sitting here watching this. I feel sorry for you and I commend you for your jobs. I do not agree with a lot that's going on. I served for 23 years between Department of Public Works and the City Commission. And I worked under 5 mayors and countless councilmen or commissioners because they change all the time. I've never seen this. I seen earlier watching the videos that Mayor Sprague was here. Some people poo-pooed him. But let me tell you what, Mayor Sprague was a very honorable man during his tenure as a commissioner and the mayor. and I didn't always agree with them. I voiced my opinion many times. I might add, I never got gavelled, which is what I would call it, but anyway, it has to be, you know, whatever. I never held the gavel in my hand, thank goodness. I just wanted to express that in my long written document, I had a lot to say, and I'm not gonna say it right now, because when my wife timed me and I ran out of time before I was even a third through. So, I'm gonna depart by saying, Mr. Mayor, I believe you have the power and the authority to straighten this out. And I'm not saying it'd be easy. I'd go in that room right there and I'd lock it, go into closed session, and I'd lock it, roll up my sleeves. You might want to kick the attorney down too. And just somehow everybody's got to get on the same page. We can have no is a good word for the commission. Agreeing with somebody every time is not the way to go either. You have your own personal thoughts about that, and I honor them, and I believe that you can. Of that. But anyway, I hope you get it fixed up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any others? Right here with hand.
Evening. My name is Judy Fisk. I live on Fox Street, this block away. I didn't plan on talking tonight. I thought I might, but it was so highly charged that I really didn't think I wanted to. This is a totally different subject. I hope it's a more normal subject. And I'm going to speak because I don't think I want to come back again. But what happened with the good, work that was done on Park Street, the roads and Pine Street and a little bit of my street, Fox Street. The road's great, I love it. But the landscaping, what happened? I tried to mow my easement, there's a little bit where a gas line was replaced and they put in, it looks like pure crabgrass. And the lot behind the streets on Nipissing, where we're gonna have all that Lapeer Day stuff, it's horrible. It looks like a bunch of weeds, crabgrass and all the other weeds. I personally would have loved it if they'd taken the opportunity to put in wildflowers for pollinators and for beauty. And they wouldn't have had to spend much money mowing. But instead, what did they do? Go with the lowest bidder? It's the worst quality grass seed. There's maybe not enough watering, but you wouldn't have to water if you use wildflowers. That's my high horse. Just what are we going to do with all that crabgrass? Are you guys discussing getting something done? Because it looks horrible and the Lapeer Days is just around the corner. So I can't stand this atmosphere of what's going on here. I just moved here 6 years ago and I love the city of Lapeer. I plan to spend the rest of my life here. But I don't know about this whole politics thing. Good luck straightening that out. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? In the back.
Wesley Weber, City of Lapeer resident. I sat back there because Ramona had said jokingly that the chair was free, and if I sat there, I would be in charge of the video. And I thought she might need some help turning the microphone on and off. I wanted to say that, for just on public record, that Jonathan Haidt is a social scientist out of NYU, and he wrote an article 3 or 4 years ago called "Why the Last 10 Years of American Life Have Been Uniquely Stupid." And he tracks the rise of social media algorithms and the invention of the share and the like button, at which time the social media companies could then, instead of your feed being organic, would just tell you, they would fill your feed with what you're most likely to interact with. And And what they found out quickly, social scientists, is that not only were people performing online, but that they were most likely to interact with content that they really, really hated or they really, really liked. And what they found is from 2012 to 2016, the country had become more and more polarized, more and more populist. And we're seeing that play out. There's a reason why our tensions are heightened. There's a reason why that we don't trust each other to have conversations and talk. And it is, and then behind the scenes, the information that we're getting fed is highly, highly polarized. And it's whether you're on the right or the left, this is what we're most likely to interact with. And what I would caution Lapeer residents, and I would just say this, is that what we're seeing today is not real. The outrage is not entirely real. It is manufactured. A comment that was made on Facebook about comments that were made in this chamber. One of our prominent commenters said, well, don't worry. We will let some smart activists know that this happened and we'll send them the link. Activists. Links being sent to them. People out of state calling in. Why? Why is it being monetized by a news media, alt news media organization? Because the algorithm is pushing content that people will really, really like or really, really hate, and it divides people. Now, I'm willing to sit and have a conversation with anyone. I want to talk more about, tax policy and city business. I hope that Mr. Womack is treated fairly, rightly, and I trust you to do that. I think it would be a horrendous thing that had he done nothing wrong, his name has been run through the mud, and it has. We don't want that. I ask you to go into closed session and talk amongst one another so that the information can be heard and that the city can put this behind us one way or another. But I do say I want Mr. Womack treated fairly and rightly, and that's what we as our citizens are asking our commission to do. Okay?
Thank you. Any others? All right.
You know I'm not gonna give you a hard time, Jeremy, but I'm gonna say what I got to say.
Mr. Kopnick, you've already spoke today.
I know that.
Well, we only do one turn of 3 minutes.
Well, this is an observation.
No, you don't
Yeah,
get
this
an
is an
observation.
observation.
I'm sorry, please take your seat.
I've read Mr. Womack, and
Mr. Kopnick,
I want the public
Mr.
to hear
Kopnick,
and think
please,
about it.
you're out of order.
I've read Mr. Womack's response.
Mr. Kopnick, please.
I have read
You're
what's
out of
been put
order.
out
If you continue,
in the
I will ask you to
investigation.
leave the meeting.
And I have a
Mr.
question.
Kopnick, you are out of
You
order.
want to pound the flesh out of
Excuse me,
Womack.
Mr. Kopnick.
What are you going to do? to
Mr.
the person
Kopnick,
that
you're out of
gave the
order.
Reports.
Mr.
apparently
Kopnick,
has
please leave the meeting room. Mr.
consistently
Kopnick, please leave the meeting
talked
room.
about other
Mr.
employees
Mr.
and made
Kopnick.
accusations.
Mr. Kopnick, I'm sorry, you
Repeatedly.
can't continue.
Yeah.
You're done.
Whatever.
Thank you. Any others? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to our administrative item B1. This item is for closed session attorney investigation memorandum. Is there a motion? Ms. Petrie?
I move that we enter into a closed session to consider the confidential attorney-client privilege and attorney investigation memorandum prepared by the city's outside counsel, together with the city manager's written response to it as material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state statute as permitted under section 8(1)H of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.2681H.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Petrie, support by Commissioner Glissman to enter the closed session. Any discussion? Mr. Atwood?
Is Mr. Womack's written response attorney-client privilege?
Mr. Francis?
In and of itself, no, there may be provisions of it that I would call confidential. I don't recall every word of it verbatim, but it is not attorney-client privilege with respect to the commission.
Follow.
Sure.
What exactly in the attorney investigation memorandum is attorney-client privilege?
I would defer to Mr. Graves. My answer to that would be generally the legal conclusion. I don't have a copy of it, but generally the legal conclusions and recommendations that were part of the report. I think essentially everything that was redacted prior to being provided to Mr. Womack.
Anything else, Mr. O? Would you like to hear from Mr. Graves?
Yeah.
Mr. Graves?
Yeah, the report itself is privileged. It's dealing with a legal situation that could result in litigation.
Very good. Any other discussion? Mr. Brady?
Is it fair to say there's no new information being presented to us tonight?
Mr. Graves, can you answer that question?
I think it's new because it's going to be looked at in a different light, because you're looking at the investigation report, which most of the commission looked at the, what was it, July 20th meeting, and then you'd be looking at it in the context of Mr. Womack's responses.
Ms. McCarthy?
I also would, just to add on to that, but I have something else to say. I also would say that it also gives us, in a closed meeting, a chance to ask questions and dialogue among ourselves that we're not allowed to do in an open meeting because of content and because of its privilege. But the other thing that I'd like to say before we go to vote is we tried to do this last time and there were those who voted no. And everyone has the right to vote yes or no. You do. I'm not saying that's the case. But we took an oath. And we have some obligations as city commissioners sitting on this dais. And one of the oaths is a legal responsibility to understand the documents that are put in front of us, to take the time to have the dialogues on them, to make sure if someone throws a claim that we research it and investigate it. That's the legal side. We have an oversight. Asking questions is not micromanaging. It's making sure that our oversight responsibilities, we're taking time to understand and make sure that we fully understand it. We have an ethical, we have all kinds of obligations. And the commission authorized the outside HR law firm an investigation into an allegation. The outside investigator reportedly advised the commission that the investigation is important and that the city needs to investigate the allegations and hear the legal opinion in a closed meeting. That's very important that we're getting legal direction to do that. Again, you know, we serve for the city, we gotta do our due diligence. A written privileged legal opinion arising from that investigation appears to fall within the Michigan OMA's recognized attorney-client closed session exception. So my point is, therefore, we're repeatedly preventing the governing body, so if you should choose to start voting no again, from obtaining and considering that legal advice raises a legitimate question as to whether the commissioners who vote no this time are interfering with the commission's, our total commission's statutory charter oversight function, and raises a question about their fulfilling their duties for oversight and legal responsibility. We have to hear this. We're kind of obligated to do our due diligence, even if we don't like it. And so I'm hoping when we go to this, that we can get enough to go into a closed meeting so we can have that dialogue. And I do want to say that at our last meeting, I want to give Mr. Brady, you know, a positive, he did say, you know, I'm going to extend an olive branch because as long as you keep your mind open and you're willing to hear other things, you know, you're willing to stay open, then I'm willing to go there. So I'm hoping that we have that more open-mindedness so that we can complete the loop on this and move forward. That's it.
Good, thank you. Mr. Brady?
Yeah, I wonder if that was insinuating any characters or motives, but that's okay.
It was not.
Oh, I felt like it.
Well, that's not the
Mr. Chair, am I recognized?
Sorry.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Continue.
I also don't like having my characters and motives questioned and called into question like that. We got the report last meeting. I had a chance to read it. I had a chance to read Mr. Womack's, even though that's probably not attorney-client privilege. It's okay. I feel up to speed on that. We had an opportunity today to come in before the meeting. Ms. McCarthy, of our hour, Ms. McCarthy was in there for half an hour. Mr. Atwood and I were in there for 40 minutes or for 20 minutes. And then I believe the remaining commissioners were in there and to their satisfaction. I know the meeting had to start, but for about 20 minutes. So we've had a chance to look at the information and be informed. I feel ready to make informed decisions. The benefit of the closed session is for us to be able to go back there. And I think what the desire is to be able to have backroom conversations. I'm more interested in having front room conversations. I feel prepared to have those conversations out here. I don't feel like I'm going to violate any problems. And if I have questions, I'll ask beforehand. And so it's not necessary for me to go into there because there's no information for me to gather back there. We can have our discussions right here. The closed session would be the benefit for us to talk. I've already had a conversation. You were there, we had a conversation. I've read the reports. I'm ready.
Ms. Petrie.
Can I ask Mr. Brady a question?
I prefer that you didn't, but go ahead.
I just, want to reiterate what Ms. McCarthy said about our due diligence and discussion. I'm thinking of all parties involved. All parties involved. All parties involved, not just us. I think it's considerate. I think there's a reason it's attorney-client privilege. And, I didn't see in our last meeting when we went into closed session, for what we went into closed session, any hesitation on your part, and we pretty much already kind of knew everything, so I don't understand why the hesitation this time, because we never, I didn't get to be at the last meeting, so I feel like I didn't get to have any dialogue. It would be helpful to me to have dialogue with everybody.
All right. Was there a question there?
Just wondered why this closed session, doesn't need to do it, but the last one he wasn't.
Mr. Brady, proceed. Go ahead and answer.
Sure. The difference in the two closed sessions, you don't really have to compare closed sessions with each other. That'd be like a what about kind of a deal. This one, I am prepared for. It sounds to me like you're asking to go back there so that we can come to some decision. That's not what a closed session is. A closed session is to go back there and be informed, and then we should come out here and make a decision. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Was there insufficient, I guess for the board, was there insufficient time or material access? And was that in any way related to how long it took to actually get the Bodman report to the clerk? I had it. I felt like I had enough. Did the board feel like they had sufficient access?
I'll just reiterate again, I didn't have sufficient access and or dialogue with all of us. Because I didn't get to be here for it, and so I'd like to, participate in that.
All right, thank you. Mr. Francis, I'm just curious, based on some of the deliberation that's going on right now, I would like your opinion on whether or not going into closed session is advisable from a legal standpoint, regardless of whether we feel sufficiently informed or not.
Yes, Mayor, I believe it is. I've spoken with Mr. Graves. I was in meetings with other commissioners. I would say that the context of the closed session would allow other commissioners to hear comments from other commissioners, which happened in part, but not completely today.
Okay. So it's legally advisable. That is your position.
Well, I legally advisable, I think it would be beneficial, will be my answer.
Okay.
And that's your opinion.
Mr. Graves?
Correct, that's my opinion.
That's your opinion.
But the commission gets to decide.
Correct.
Mr. Brady,
Sorry, I believe that's what you said.
Mr. Graves, same question.
I agree. I think it would be advisable for the commission to hear each other's thoughts, and when they're reviewing the materials and to make a decision.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll go to roll call. Mr. Atwood, before we go to roll call, I'm sorry.
Few questions.
Go ahead.
Were we able to reach a decision last July 20th? Were we able to reach a decision that night without going into closed session?
Who is your question directed at, Mr. Atwood?
Chair.
Were we able to
Yes,
reach a decision on what, Mr. Atwood?
for the night. It was very similar to the written response you had.
Can you be more specific about what you're asking?
Were we able to make a decision July 20th in regards to Mr. Womack's appointment by going into closed session or not going into closed session? I believe the end result of that night would have been the same.
Okay, very good.
Is that true, or did we reach a decision that was very similar to what you had written down that night? The only difference was we paid him for 3 weeks, but it was the same that we worked out and deliberated without divulging attorney-client privilege. There was a couple comments that were made that did divulge attorney-client privilege, which is the sexual harassment and the naming of the individual, Mr. Womack, that I didn't divulge. That's on the individual commissioners. But did we reach a decision? I guess what I'm getting at here is we have Mr. Womack's attorney who made a public comment, who made a suggestion. One of which that I had in my mind. The other is we do corrective action and we have Mr. Womack's suggestions here. The way I see it, we have two options to keep us from a lawsuit. Number one, we let him go with his severance and what his attorney is requesting. Number two, we keep him and give him corrective action and put him on in 6 month. The only outcome I see coming out of a closed session would be firing with cause, which you would have to prove section 7, which I think, reading all the stuff I've read, we're gonna have a hard time doing that. So I appreciate the comments of saying I'm not being ethical. I told you last meeting, gaslighting is not the appropriate way to get me to respond to requests after we have record of Commissioner Brady and myself repeatedly asking for information, time with Bodman. I think we got 20 minutes today. Mr. Mayor, you've had since December with Bodman. I said through email that I didn't trust, I have certain reasons for not wanting to go into closed session. Number one is trying to protect this city from future litigation, which I feel this would be heading if we do go into a closed session. So again, saying I'm being unethical or not doing my due diligence is gaslighting me and trying to force me into a situation that I don't want to be in a closed session where we've repeatedly been unheard, outvoted, which is, it happens. I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is what has transpired here in the timeline And I do believe Mr. Womack would have a case if we fire him for cause.
Thank you, Mr. Atwood. I only heard one of 2 points, unless gaslighting was your second point for not going into closed session.
Trust, gaslighting,
All right, thank you.
litigation, potential litigation, obviously. Anybody
That
can
was your
sue us
first
for
point. Thank you.
anything.
Ms. Petrie.
So we can't make a decision in that room. We have to decide things in this room.
Correct.
However, like I said, and our 2 attorneys here that have their degree in law advised, it's probably wise to hear them and each other so that we can have a fair, intelligent conversation without humiliation of anyone. And I would just like to ask, is your view always to avoid litigation in every situation? Because for myself, as a commissioner, I don't want litigation against our city either. I mean, I took an oath. I'm trying to protect it. But there's all kinds of ways to protect it. And so I feel like because we've already paid our attorneys, they're paid. They're getting paid. They are here to tell us what they came up with so that we all as a commission get to talk about it. That's what we do. We go into closed session, we listen to our attorney, he tells us blah, 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 blah. We ask questions, we come back, and sometimes we don't vote together. Sometimes one vote is different than the other 4 or 3, but we don't decide anything in there. We get informed to make a decision. So I don't want to assume any decision's been made by anybody, but I'd like to hear the information.
Yeah. I'm just going to.
Mr. Mayor, there's a question.
1 second. There was a question?
Yeah, she asked me a question. I'm not sure what it was.
Okay. Well,
Do you feel that way about any litigation, always for the city, that you will do whatever it takes to avoid litigation in your voting, in all your career? Do you always vote to avoid litigation? Or have there been times where you knew the way you voted, we probably were gonna go into litigation, but that's what happened?
Again, you asked me a question with a statement. What's the question?
Have you ever voted in a way that could have caused litigation? Or did you always vote, no matter what it was, to avoid litigation? Have you ever voted in a way that caused or could cause litigation?
Anything could cause litigation. I always vote with my conscience and what I feel is right.
Okay.
Ms. Glissman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to go into closed session, and the reason for it is, this is very difficult decisions to make. It's embarrassing, not only for us up here, it's very stiff, point of orders, a lot of rules we have to go through when we're, like the gentleman here with the Vietnam hat on said, get in the room, lock the door, and work it out. We need to hear from each other without such stiff rules. We need to be able to be open and talk about why we feel a certain way. We don't have that luxury here to talk about why we feel a certain way. When we go in that room, and another thing is, this is a very difficult thing because it's so nuanced. And a lot of you within the room have had conversations with each other and have been on the internet with each other and social media. And in my opinion, I don't go there on purpose because it muddies the water. You have to be able to think clearly amongst what we're really talking about. I was very upset that a lot of the things came out publicly about Mr. Womack. It wasn't fair to him. And now we have to discuss this stuff. I think we need to know what each other really feels, why we feel that way. Are there injustices? Or are we following the path of what we need to do for the sake of the city? We have to be clear-minded and we have to be open. You can't just give a statement and have someone say point of order and then it slows us down. We have to be able to be as open and honest with each other as possible. I'm not saying we duke it out in there, but it is nuanced and you have to know what's going on in the other person's head and know why they feel the way they do.
I feel differently about going into closed session and then some up here. I think that going into closed session is advisable by two different attorneys that this city currently has working for the city's best interest. And it's advisable by them for a reason, because I believe that that is a way to avoid litigation. By continuing to dance around the bushes with a sensitive matter and privileged matter in front of the public opens yourself up to the risk, the very risk that some people are claiming they would like to avoid. So it's odd that two attorneys from different law firms would advise the same thing for the best interest of the city, yet somehow they're wrong. I disagree with that. So my position is that I would encourage the commission to go into closed session to understand why it is that the attorneys are advising such a thing. We have always gone into closed session for other things even less sensitive and less risky than this. And I'm curious why this subject matter is any different. In fact, I think it warrants higher level of sensitivity. Anyhow, I think it's time to take a vote. We'll take a roll call.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
Commissioner Glissman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
No.
Motion fails. That brings us to B2. The hearing of the city manager. This has a suggested motion, but only if requested by the city manager. At this time, Mr. Schwartz, I would welcome you and your client an opportunity to the podium to respond.
Thank you, Mayor Stephen Schwartz again. At the last meeting, Mr. Womack gave a very lengthy response to the evaluation. He wrote a very lengthy response to the investigative report, the part that wasn't redacted, so I don't know what else we could possibly say. I think this meeting's long enough, so we'll rest on his comments from July 20th and his written response.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz, my understanding, there is no request for a closed session for Mr. Womack, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. Mr. Brady?
Is it the pleasure of the commission to discuss the offer of resignation?
It could be the pleasure of the commission. Mr. Francis, how would you advise moving forward if that's a discussion that we want to have. Should it be in the open or in closed session?
I mean, there would be no basis to go closed session.
Okay, thank you. Before we do, I'd like to read a public statement that our clerk had forwarded to us and brought to the dais. Wasn't sure if it was supposed to be read during public comments. I actually forgot about it until now. But it's relevant to this very situation because it's the very topic.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
What is the rule being broken here?
It sounds like you're adding things into our agenda and doing them out of order.
This is the agenda item we're on. It actually is relevant to both agenda items. And, you know, quite frankly, I probably could have read it in both turns. So I'm going to read it now. City Clerk Ramona Sanchez, please distribute this email as written public comment to the mayor and city commissioners for August 10th, 2026 city commission meeting.
Point of inquiry.
I am writing to file. You can stop interrupting.
I have a point of inquiry. You're very brief
Go
with me.
ahead.
Okay. Can we get advice from our attorney whether he's read this and whether you should be reading it right now?
Oh, we could do that in closed session when we were having the chance to do that. I think that's partly why I held it, because I would like to have talked about it in closed session. But we're past that right now, so.
Does reading this into the meeting?
It's a public
move us
comment.
towards
It's titled public
litigation or
comment.
away from litigation?
Mr. Brady, I will thank you to stop interrupting the chair for dilatory points of order and an inquiry that was answered. I am ready to file an official complaint with Human Resources notifying the city commission and mayor that my rights as a city Teamster union employee prior to my retirement have been violated by the city for the following reason. Number one, Teamster City Union Agreement dated 7/1/22 through 6/30/26, page 12, discipline, article 8, paragraph C states that, quote, all infractions which occurred more than 3 years prior back to the beginning of employment will be removed from a personnel file, end quote. Number two, City Manager Womack, in his official response to my harassment complaint, which has been made public on social media site Pissant Press, references several times that he accessed documentation of a disciplinary matter from 2013, which is 13 years ago, from my personnel file, and improperly used one incident over a decade old as a basis to establish a history of my behavior as a liar and problematic employee for years prior to his employment beginning 3 years ago. Number three, City Manager Womack is the designated human resources person for the city and is expected to be aware of, comply with, and enforce all rules, regulations, and union contract requirements regarding personnel and their files. He knowingly violated this requirement and his duty to the city of Lapeer. Also, please have the Human Resources Department representative contact me to schedule a time for me to review my personnel file.
Who's that by?
The complainant, which I'm not going to read. I think it's already been publicly distributed on, sounds like social media and Pissant Press, which.
Mayor, it's okay if you put the name in the record. She provided it for public comment.
Very good. Okay, so public comment, yep. So that would be Kim Hodge. There's also this here, which is very concerning to me because that statement alone implies that this individual is considering maybe some action against the city, and I think that that's been the intent or the implication here. So I'm curious what kind of litigation we're trying to avoid by not going into closed session and discuss these things, because they're very important. It seems like we're only protecting one type of claim and not the others. We're not taking all of them into consideration. Good afternoon. I wanted to follow up on a few items related to the ongoing investigation. First, I wanted to make you aware of a concern that has been brought to my attention by several employees who have participated in interviews during the investigation. I've had multiple employees express that they are fearful of potential retaliation if their identities are disclosed in the witness statements, particularly if Mr. Womack returns to his position following his administrative leave. Their concern is that if their names are not redacted and he is provided with the statements, they may be treated differently or have grudges held against them in the future. These are serious, and that's coming from HR here at the city, and we're not protecting our staff or the city by refusing to go into closed session against the recommendation of two separate legal counsel. The only person being protected by this, I should say, is the very person that we should be protecting others from. So it's baffling to me.
Disgusting. Monster.
It's baffling to me that we're not willing to do our legal due diligence, and that we're willing to do all of this deliberation in an open forum.
Mr. Mayor, we still
rather than
on debate
where
for
we
closed
should
session.
be.
I thought we took the closed session vote.
Yeah, we did, but you're asking if we should consider a negotiation. Where do you see that here on the agenda? Can you please point it out to me?
It was brought up during.
No, where is it on the agenda, Mr. Brady? Because it seems you want to hold to the agenda. Where is it on the agenda?
Never
please?
mind, Jeremy.
Point of order.
Please state which rule is being violated.
We don't call each other by our first name.
Yes, that's in our policy. Ramona, we can look up the policy number if you'd like, but if you could please put that on the record as out of order. I'll sustain the point of order against whatever policy that is. I think it's E7 or something like that, or E6. We can look it up later after the meeting, Ramona, if necessary. All right, so Ms. McCarthy.
I'm just gonna add this in here, so, I've either received phone calls or had conversations with city employees. It was after the July 20th meeting. And, basically, I'm gonna paraphrase that there are employees, current employees, not past employees that have a grievance. Current employees that are now employed and work daily here within the city that are very concerned that they are going to be retaliated against. I'm just saying what was told to me. And that they wanted us to take that into consideration with any decisions that we made. And so I just, that email kind of confirms what was verbally said to me, with more than one person. I don't know if you're getting any of these type of things, if anybody's calling you, but I received conversations and phone calls.
Mr. Brady.
I'd like to hear what motion is on the floor for us to discuss.
Mr. Francis.
Yes, Mayor.
It seems that we are at an impasse. Would you like to provide any insight or guidance in terms of a way forward?
Mayor, and Mr. Graves can jump in if he disagrees, but your item on the agenda was to enter into a closed session if requested, but the item's purpose was to consider the dismissal, suspension, or discipline of, and or to hear complaints or charges brought against the city manager. And that's the agenda item. There is no motion pending. Sometimes this body is allowed deliberation discussion prior to motion, but that would be the subject of what's to be discussed.
All right, then that's the motion that I will entertain, or something, some variation of that. It's only a suggested motion. Who had it up first?
I think you beat me.
Mr. Brady.
What I would propose is that we discuss the resignation, but if we're just not going there, so I'm gonna let somebody else make a motion to do that. Otherwise, somebody else needs to bring forward whatever they have in mind.
Just a question, so is that a motion?
No, I'm just letting you know.
Discussion.
I'm deferring making the motion because I don't imagine, I mean, either one of you want to go that route and one of you can make that motion. Or it's just gonna fail and we're gonna spend 45 minutes talking about nothing. So I'm gonna put it down, but say, for the second time, maybe we should discuss that. But if you have something else in mind, please make a motion.
I just want to make a point of order here that we really shouldn't have discussion until we have a motion and a second. So whatever the motion may be, whether it's a pro or con or whatever, at least we have a motion on the table here to discuss.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Glissman. We'll only entertain a motion now, so Ms. McCarthy.
I'm doing the dive. Mr. Mayor, I move that we terminate Mr. Womack for cause.
And we allow our attorneys to meet with his attorney to negotiate some type of settlement.
Second.
Motion motion moved by Commissioner McCarthy, second by Commissioner Petrie to terminate Mr. Womack for cause and direct our attorneys to work with Mr. Womack's attorneys to negotiate
Mr. Mayor,
a settlement.
may I ask the movement a question? Is the cause based on what is detailed in the investigatory report from Bodman?
Ms. McCarthy, can you answer that question? And if you need help or guidance from counsel, you should start there.
Are you asking me to give very specific reasons or just
No,
to
I'm
base it
asking
on
for,
investigation?
yeah, I'm okay if it's what's stated, and I would defer to Mr. Graves, but I do think there needs to be some sort of indication as to
It
what
is-
the cause is.
It is based on the findings that
Thank
came
you.
from the investigation report.
Does the second understand that as well? The
Yes,
second on motion,
yes.
thank you.
Do you need Mr. Francis or Mr. Graves for the motion to be restated in such a way for the clerk to record that is more clear or concise for your concerns?
Motion's clear.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, we'll start with discussion.
Terminate his
Mr.
employment, not his life.
Mr. Brady, your hand was up first, I'm sorry.
I need
The second.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you want to for me? Okay. I need to say something very clearly. I'm not a personal friend with Mr. Womack. Why I think in my review was very clear. I think he has many gifts and talents. I personally have witnessed with constituents, emails, employees, a very toxic behavior. This report reiterates that investigation. Let me just name the department heads that have left. Some of them have retired early and personally told me why. Denise Soldonsky retired, she's in housing. Tracy Russell retired, she was HR. Kim Hodge, planning. Tim Woolley, a 30-plus year employee for the wastewater treatment plant. Jeff Graham, I believe, was not sure what happened because we weren't told what happened. Mike Newmeyer, we weren't told what happened. Matt Hart, we were not told what happened except through the grapevine. So while I don't want to micromanage, I do believe that Mr. Womack prefers to micromanage. That's why he didn't recuse himself when he should have as our HR person. That's why we're here. We're here because there was an investigation done that we were required to look into. I am about truth and trust, and one cannot abide without the other. And unfortunately, there have been times that truth was not told. I have all the proof of that. And because truth was not told, I have commissioners that were witnesses. It broke my trust. And then when I read the results of the report, I realized I'm not the only one without the trust. So I feel like as much as I don't wanna ruin anyone's livelihood, and I am someone that gives second, third, fourth, fifth chances. I am. People that know me know that, so feel free to contact anybody who knows me. However, I took an oath to protect this city, and I think that there are things in the wings that could be litigation against our city. One of the first ways that I think our city was not protected, my very first interaction with Mr. Womack actually, was as a resident making a public comment. And I asked why our city attorney wasn't present after 14 years, and after attending every meeting for 2 years, we had a city attorney present. Excuse me.
Point of order, please.
Sorry.
So my
Point of order, point of order.
Mr. Atwood, can you please?
I really feel like she's divulging into something that could be a potential risk to the city. And she needs to stop her comments.
And can you tell me which charter?
She's
violation
giving out
it is?
information bias, which is proof of this motion here, and I would appreciate if she would stop.
Is
for
it
the
bias or
record.
her opinion?
She's a sitting commissioner. It doesn't matter if she's an opinion or it's showing bias.
Okay, is there a
That,
rule?
that
is
as
there
a
rule?
citizen,
The
she
decision
doesn't
can
like
be
Mr.
made
Womack.
without all of that
Excuse
extra
me,
stuff.
excuse me, I'm listening to
The
Ms.
rule is
Atwood.
we're at risk by her comments, sir.
Which rule, please?
We're at risk by her
I
information
need a
bias
rule to
towards
make a
the city
ruling
manager.
on Mr. Atwood.
We are at risk if she continues her
I need a
comments.
rule to make a ruling on Mr. Atwood.
There's, Mr. Mayor, there's no need to go into the details here and now. Just take the action and keep your opinion.
You know what the risk is, sir.
We are at risk because we did.
I find your point of order not well received, and I'm gonna stop Ms. Petrie for a minute. You can continue after I confer with our legal counsel, Mr. Francis. Is there a rule or law that you feel that Ms. Petrie is violating, that we should stop her portion of the conversation, or at least redirect her?
There is no rule or law, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Petrie, please continue.
My point in that is when I asked, this is my very first interaction with him as a public comment, and it was, why do we not have a city attorney at the last 5 meetings? I had also asked Mr. Atwood privately, why are we not, we hired a new one, why are they not here? And your answer to me, Mr. Atwood, was, I don't know. Now that I'm a city commissioner, I'm like, that's something that should have been known. But Mr. Womack's comment to me afterwards was, I can handle. He called me up to the dais afterwards and said, do you want me to answer your questions? I said, I have one. Why are not having a city attorney present at our meetings for protection for the city? And he said, I can answer anything they need. I just tell him what happened in the meeting, and I said, well, then do you tell them what each commissioner said, because our cameras weren't working at the time adequately. Do you tell them every public comment? I mean, I'm just concerned about the protection of the city. And he said, yeah, I'll tell them what happened, and if I need their help, I'll let them know. And in my opinion, not knowing what I know now, that was putting the city at risk, because we are covered. We didn't hire him for our city attorney purposes. We hired him for a city manager, and I found many times during, so far, the 3 years almost that I've been here, I think there's some confusion in his role. We have emails to prove that. So I'm very concerned about litigation for our city and where some of his actions might take us. And I'm also concerned for the staff and retaliatory behavior. That's why I'm doing this. I care about the people that left, and why they left. And like I said, I've been in this community 65 years and been a resident since 1990 of the city. And this isn't how it should go. This is not how it should go. We are not to have, I mean, we shouldn't be making our decisions on a friendship. We are, all of us, his boss.
Mr. Brady.
it's very clear where this is going. I feel like it's a great risk for us to turn this into I told you so's, or like, I don't mean this in a mean way. I'm saying we will take a vote on this at the end and it will go wherever the vote goes. We do not need to start dumping tea into the harbor. We don't need to do that. We can just handle this as business and it will be just fine. But I don't think that we should be trying to like bring everything back up. What we should be doing is sticking with the motion, and the motion covers it. We've gotten advice on that. I have two questions. One of them probably needs to happen after the vote, but I'd like us to settle up really clearly today who the interim manager is going to be, if needed. And then also, there were accusations brought. Is there any desire by this body to exonerate or there's been a lot of words and a lot of people's names and a lot of things thrown out that probably shouldn't have, but now that they're out there, is exoneration a consideration that the commission would entertain? You know,
Exoneration.
this happened or this didn't happen kind of stuff, because I don't, there's been a lot thrown out there.
I think what, Mr. Brady, I'm gonna ask a clarifying question
Yeah.
because I think that's where Ms. Petrie is going. I think you're asking for some type of waiver of privilege to, I guess, clear the air on what's inside of the report.
The privilege belongs to this body. We can let our privilege go. We paid for that lawyer's opinion. It's up to us if we want to say, here's what was found. And I think, for the sake of the city, it probably would be a good idea for us to do something like that.
Okay. Ms. McCarthy.
Thank you. I asked that question because that seems like a very fundamental thing to do. So when I had my chance to go in prior to the meeting, that's one of the questions I asked is, what type of statement could we possibly make to give clarity? And basically, by doing that, you open yourself up for more legal litigation and liability, and we're in a tough spot. I mean, I am not saying this is an easy place to be, but we kind of have to let the attorney, because of the way this all came about, we kind of have to let them do the negotiation and not dig a deeper hole. And I think we're stuck, and it's not what any of us want to be. It's a tough situation here. I mean, I don't cry often. I started to tear up when I made the motion. It's not a great place to be tonight. And it's not a great place to not give the citizens of Lapeer clarity. It's not good, but I asked that question and I was told the less is best at this point.
Sorry, I actually had three and I only got to two. The motion, as I understand it, is termination for cause, which typically would negotiate or would take away the severance. But then the motion also includes for the attorneys to negotiate some severance. So I'm kind of in a blurry line here. Coming into this, I thought, okay, there's firing for cause, there's a separation according to his contract, there's a corrective action, right? Fix the problem, and there's do nothing. And I wasn't at do nothing, but I wasn't this far over with fire for cause. So I'm wondering if we're not negotiating, we're not going with his negotiated severance according to this motion as I understand it. Is that factual? That the end result, as the motion is presented, the end result would not be termination with the severance as contracted.
Answer.
I'm not a legal wizard, okay, so I don't have all these answers and you're trying to get finite. I'm leaving us space. That's all I did. Termination with cause. based on the investigation, the things that were brought in there. And then with the open-ended that his attorney and our attorney and Mr. Francis will work through it. I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh and black and white. I'm just saying give them space so they can come back. This is a man's livelihood. It's an ugly situation. I cried when I had to make the stupid motion. I think that we give a little grace. We see what comes out the back. We try to give them room so that they can wrap this sucker up. And that two sides walk away with some kind of a win. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not making definitive statements. I'm saying,
I have to vote
give them
on
some
that,
space.
I want to make an informed vote. I need to know exactly what the motion
Well,
is.
we can't do that because they haven't done it yet. I gave them room to roam.
Ms. Sanchez, could you repeat it? Cause I didn't hear the word, tell them to give them severance. I just heard you say, with cause and they would negotiate.
Right.
But the word severance or
I
any
just-
detail wasn't in there.
I left it open. I
Point
thought
of
I
order,
left it open.
point of order.
Mr. Atwood.
Who seconded this motion?
I did, that's why I'm just clarifying.
So, Mr. Atwood, the point of order, can you please tell me what rule was being violated?
It's a point of inquiry.
Okay, point of
Sorry.
inquiry. Do you-
Yeah,
Clarification? Very
Yeah.
good, thank you.
Could you just repeat, Ramona, please?
What I have is to terminate Mr. Womack for cause based on the findings of the investigation report. And to direct the city, and to direct the attorney and Mr. Womack's attorneys to negotiate a settlement.
All right, and that's pretty open-ended, so anything can be inside of there, including the word severance, right? Whatever that means, in terms of the, Mr. Schwartz, do you have something you'd like to address the
Yeah,
commission with?
My role is peacemaker. You have an easy way out, which is he resigns, you pay the contractual settlement. In my fees. If you're not going to go there, then I would suggest that you don't vote tonight. You table it, which I believe, I'm not your lawyer, but I believe that's non-debatable, and you direct the attorneys to try to work out a deal. You're tying our hands with all good intentions. You're doing this sort of backwards, okay? And you give us a date, there ain't nothing like a deadline. So you give us a date, like a week to come back or something. And see what we can work out. I'm not making another offer because I'm not gonna negotiate against myself because I learned that a long time ago. I don't know if there's a deal possible. If you vote to terminate him, you're making this much, much harder to reach a deal. Because that's a stigma that will last on his career the rest of his life. There's a way out of this, which is to get to an appropriate severance with a release agreement. Okay? And so I would suggest you table this for a week or two. Mr. Francis and I, Mr. Graves and I can talk. My position is the city has to make an offer to me because he's got a contract and I don't think you have cause, but you make an offer to me, I will talk to my client about it. Keep him on paid leave until we come back. Let's see what we can do.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz, but you are our attorney, so I feel like I need our attorney who did the investigation and our city attorney to advise us. That's why a closed session would have been really helpful. So
Ask one more question.
I just said I'd like them to advise us on what you would say.
Ask the chair.
I think,
I just asked him if I could.
is it okay for me to answer?
Mr. Graves, yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, so, I mean, I think Mr. Schwartz is offering us an off-ramp that is something worth pursuing. It may not work out, right, but it's a reasonable off-ramp. But I think what's needed is, number one, if yes or no, you want to take that off-ramp. Number two is you know, if you want to have him continue on in a paid administrative leave. And number three, how much time, you know, to get it done.
Ms. McCarthy?
Can I ask Mr. Bowman or Mr. Graves a question?
Yes, please.
Can I take back my motion? Could we do something that's resigned with a negotiated severance versus just accepting the contract as is? Because again, in my mind, I feel that that investigation provided some issues.
The resignation and negotiated severance may come out of that, but I don't think that Mr. Womack is gonna agree to resign prior to getting an agreement.
Okay, so we have a motion here that's for termination with cause. And for the attorneys to negotiate, that means no longer employed. Yours, but if we do the resign, then that resignation is gonna be based on a full package.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay,
No,
so
I
that
mean-
was my question,
Okay,
is do
sorry,
I
I'm so
take
sorry.
back, I mean, I'm trying to get to a point where I have some words that I can put out there. Do I take back my motion and do I say resign with severance to be negotiated?
I think the motion, and then you can help me, right, if I'm going astray. But I think the motion would be to take no action, continue, or I guess it would be taking action, continue, Mr. Womack's leave either on a paid or unpaid basis, that would be up to you. And direct counsel to, negotiate a resolution of his employment. That could be a variety of things to come out of that. But obviously, the board would need to approve any settlement that came up.
Ms. McCarthy?
I just have one more question for either of you, but I'm not sure what that is, but when we did this the last time, there was, so I don't know anybody else up here is what, there's not a whole lot of social media campaign going on about this. We're taking our role pretty seriously about what's in the investigation, what the responses are, et cetera. With this continuedly paid or unpaid, and direct counsel negotiate, a resolution that's going to be resignation eventually. Is there a clause that go in there that this is not put out to social media and public this and public, I mean, it's just, let's put it to bed. I get the hard feelings, but let's just stop scraping at the wound.
We would be able to put a non-disparagement clause in the contract. You know, the enforceability and whether you want to enforce that is often difficult, but you can, you know, I don't know if this is the time to get into that lengthy discussion.
Okay, and so that would not go in the motion.
No, that would
Thank
be,
you.
I mean, there are going to be many details in the agreement.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I better let him, the motion is still on, so I have to let him talk, because once we take the motion out.
Mr. Bray.
At a certain point, there's a balance of the cost of negotiating to what has already been negotiated. That's my point.
Mr. Eckwood?
Again, I would like to point out that we're getting somewhere without going into a closed session. It's been brought up multiple times that I'm holding the commission back from reaching a decision. Attorneys can dialogue and not disclose attorney-client privilege. The end result would have been the same whether we went into closed session or not. I already told you that this is not my first rodeo. I seen this happen with the past city manager when there was dislike or ought against the city manager. I knew election day that things would change. I knew election day this past November things were going to change. I saw the writing on the wall. I have a timeline here I'm not gonna divulge into things much because I do ultimately have to protect the city, but you guys keep saying that my friendship with Mr. Womack is keeping me from making certain decisions. That is not true. That is a guess and it's a mischaracterization of who I am. I have a track record of protecting the city. And again, you guys come at me and you gaslight the heck out of me, which is very disrespectful and dishonoring to my years of service. You know how much hours and time I've divulged in these meetings. And again, it's mind-boggling to me. The end result, whether we went into closed session or not, wasn't going to be the same. We were going to work this out with the attorneys, just like we are now. Again, I need to protect the city, and I would want them to work it out if possible, because I do fear that Mr. Womack does have a pretty strong case against the city.
Mr. Atwood, this isn't a simple matter of dislike of the city manager per your comparison to the previous circumstance with the last city manager, or a change of guard on the elected official side of things. The investigation turned up behavior that puts the city at risk. This isn't simple dislike. And while you may try to argue or mischaracterize the nature of closed sessions and open sessions, and we're still getting a decision made here, you are not comparing apples to apples, because in the open session, we have to dance around the privilege material in the confidentiality.
I call for the orders.
And be at risk continually. And if business could be done without closed sessions, then we would never take a closed session on any matter. If any matter deserved a closed session more than any, even just last week, this one takes higher priority and importance. The way that you reframe things and accuse us of gaslighting is a reversal. You're looking for sympathy and you're pandering to the crowd.
We were getting real close.
It's inappropriate.
That's it, you're out of
And
order.
I'll ask you to stop doing that. You're out of order. I need you to stop. This isn't your discussion. This is ours.
I'm a citizen, I think.
And
I
if you're,
have
no,
to speak.
you had time at public comment. You're out of order and you will leave the meeting room if you continue to be doing so.
You can make me leave?
Yes, that is within the authority of
We
the
get back
presiding
to the
officer.
discussion. We were getting somewhere. We were. Just.
Mr. Brady.
We can have our egos
No,
down and we
Mr.
can get
Brady,
somewhere.
you're done. You're done. We're gonna be quiet.
We can vote that one down. I second the call to question.
I have to.
Just.
And we all know this is Mayor Hink's.
Call the
meeting.
question.
We're supposed to be Mayor Hink's
Mr.
meeting,
Kopnick,
and
you are out of
fucking
order.
useless. I'm coming, guys.
I have to read, I have to take back.
Just saying.
Once you put it out there, you really can't take
I
it back.
can, I can make a motion to take it back and she rescinds it.
The call to question's been seconded.
Well, that's what you called it.
Commissioner Glissman called it.
With the
Do we
intention of
have,
killing
do,
it on the floor.
we have a call, didn't somebody second the motion
They
to
did, to
call the
call the
question?
question.
Or are we still talking?
Yes.
Glissman,
We're gonna take a roll call on the call to order since it was called and it was seconded.
Mayor, if I may, before you do,
There's been a call to question.
respectfully.
No, I'm
she
sorry.
can She can withdraw her motion.
Well, they call.
Well, they called the question that
It's
that
determined.
supersedes. It supersedes. I'm sorry, Mr. Schwartz, not right now. We'll take a roll call.
It's just, I mean,
This is on call to question, Mayor, correct?
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
yes.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm not after you.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes. Commissioner Atwood,
yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we're gonna vote on the motion that is on the table. Ms. Sanchez, could you please repeat the motion that is on the table?
To terminate Mr. Womack for cause based on the findings of the investigation report and direct the attorney and Mr. Womack's attorneys to negotiate a settlement.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner McCarthy.
Ms. McCarthy, do you have a question before you vote?
Did you think?
Listen, it was a call to question.
I know.
You guys put yourself into a situation where you're gonna vote on the motion on the table. That is the nature of a call to question. If you wanted to withdraw your motion, then we shouldn't have gone through the formality of a call to question.
I was not allowed to do it. They forced me into it because they did the question and then they said, you don't have a choice.
All right. I can make some affordances for this. We can withdraw and you can make a motion. As long as it doesn't violate any other rules.
Mayor, what are you asking Commissioner McCarthy to do? I'm confused.
That,
Yeah,
okay, that's the way.
that's an option.
You just kill it.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Yes.
Let's do that.
I vote no.
Commissioner Peastree.
No, I know.
Commissioner Atwood.
No.
Commissioner Brady.
No.
Commissioner Glissman.
No.
Motion fails. Commissioner McCarthy.
Do I have to go to a motion right now or can I say something?
You can go to, I'd prefer you go to a motion, but you can, if you think that you need to, if you think you need to set up your motion, then I will allow it.
Well, I think that in order for us to get through a very sticky situation, we're gonna have a little bit more patience with one another. And perhaps not get off kilter on other conversations so that we can get to the motion. But again, we're kind of pigeonholing everybody in and looking crazy because we're not given patience. Thank you. I really appreciate your savant advice. That 12 years is paying off.
It was your bad motion.
It was. I didn't think it was a bad motion, but I don't need him this done.
We're ready to hear what you're proposing.
I'm gonna let someone else try this motion, because I tried it once and, I mean, I'm trying to be fair. Thank you. Someone else take over.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we let our attorneys negotiate with Mr. Womack's attorney, with no pay. We gave him 3 weeks to, no pay. And to meet back with us. What day is today? No, I'm gonna rephrase that. Sorry, strike it. Never mind, I'm gonna just withdraw my motion. I'm gonna let somebody that's been here longer or no more make a motion. Okay, you try. Nope, because it's not working.
I move that we have our attorneys and Mr. Womack's attorneys negotiate Mr. Womack's severance.
Support.
Who's for it?
Atwood.
Are we gonna piecemeal the motions together in separate motions, or are we going to address his continued suspension? And is it paid or unpaid? Are we going to address an interim in the same motion or not? Are we gonna give a deadline for the attorneys to get back to us for what I would think would be a closed session conversation. How do you plan to?
Mr. Mayor, do you want, I can help out perhaps?
Yes, please.
If maybe the motion could be withdrawn, I can make a motion that I believe, or I could suggest a motion that I believe Ms. Glissman was intending to make, which is clear.
Okay.
If we could have the withdrawn in the motion, I can.
Okay, I withdraw.
I think what the motion needs to be, and I believe what you're intending, is that the decision on Mr. Womack's discipline be tabled until perhaps the next meeting on August 17th to see if the attorneys are able to negotiate a potential resolution that would be brought back before this body for consideration at that meeting. This body would then have another motion to determine whether the leave would be continued with pay or without pay. But this would table any decision on his future employment for a week.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Ramona?
No, yeah. Tabling the decision on Mr. Womack's employment for a week to allow the attorneys to discuss and determine if there is a potential resolution.
I would,
You want,
I would suggest more time,
okay.
3 weeks.
Okay,
Mr. Schwartz?
That's fine, thank you.
so that would be,
August 31st.
Pay, what pay? Unpaid?
that's a separate, that would be, you can make it part of that motion or not, or it can be a separate motion, but that would be tabling the decision on Mr. Womack's employment until August 31st to allow counsel to speak.
Ms. McCarthy?
I just have a little clarity. So when you say it's a second motion, it's a different issue, it's whatever. So now we have this one and we vote on it. And then we're saying, is it paid or is it unpaid? Do we make a second motion that during this period of time?
You could add on to it the first, I wasn't sure where you could add on to that motion, what I just said, whether you wanted it to be part of the same.
But if we do it as a second motion and you do it, then it passes or fails on its face.
Correct.
Okay, so as a second motion, we would do it paid or unpaid, and if it pass or fail on
The
its face.
first motion would be to table the decision until August 31st.
Okay, thank you.
And then you would need a special meeting, Ramona, I believe, and to schedule a special meeting for August 31st.
Mr. Francis, I'm going to read this back to you. I was writing as fast as I can. I want to make sure that this is right and they can take it from there. Okay, so the motion would be to move to postpone the decision for Mr. Womack's disciplinary action until August 31st and direct the attorneys to negotiate with Mr. Womack's attorney. You kind of ended it there, but then you had answered Ms. McCarthy that they could add or append or make a separate motion for the paid or unpaid.
The only thing I would add that I think needs to be added to mine, Mayor, is to put the date of August 31st and have a special meeting set for
Okay,
August 31st.
that's a special meeting. So until August 31st. I had August 31st in there, but you want it in the motion to say special meeting?
Yeah, it's not a regular meeting date. So
Disciplinary action until August 31st.
alternatively, Mayor, your regular meeting would be September 7th if
Right,
that-
right. But this could be a special
Thank you.
meeting.
Correct.
It's okay. So, and that's up to them. And alternatively, it would be the next regular meeting, August 31st at a special meeting. Or alternatively, you can fill that in to say,
September.
next regular meeting,
Yep.
which is September 8th. Okay. Mr. Brady.
I really hate to curveball it, but I would like to see a motion to just take the offer that we got because of the cost of negotiation and my fear that there's a possibility that he gets put on unpaid leave, which I believe would violate his contract. So I'm going to make a motion to accept the offer of resignation as it was presented to us. And if you don't want it, that's fine. I just feel like it's proper for us to weigh in on that before we start going down this kind of messy third row.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
That's a motion.
No, she already had a motion.
She withdrew it.
Mr. Francis wrote that motion.
Yeah, I didn't.
Wrote that motion.
That's not what happened.
Mr. Francis, when she withdrew her motion and you were helping to write it, was the intent to help Ms. Glissman on this motion? Is that how the two of you understand it?
My intent, Mayor, was to offer a suggested motion that I thought was delivering what Ms. Glissman was saying.
Okay, so the intent is that Ms. Glissman is, as long as she's in agreement with what you have presented, that was her motion that she's making.
I don't want to speak for Ms. Glissman. That was my intent, was to make sure we had a
Ms.
clear
Glissman,
record.
Point of order.
can you,
I confirm that.
okay.
Point of order.
Mr. Brady, your point of order, please. What rule is being broken?
I was properly recognized for the floor.
That is true.
There was no motion on the floor.
That is not my current understanding now.
She withdrew her motion. No new motion had been made by a member of this body. I properly attained the floor and I made a motion. Hasn't been seconded, that's fine. But don't bulldog me here. You can just vote no on it. That's fine. I'm just asking you to just vote no on it.
Okay. In the spirit of expediency, do you want to let him go forward with that? Okay.
Nobody seconded it.
I'm not going to sustain your point of order. I'm gonna consider it, yeah, it wasn't well received because I don't think that you had a basis for what you're stating, but they're willing to work with you and move forward with your current motion. So go ahead. Any discussion?
He doesn't have
I don't have a second.
Okay,
And that's fine.
Support.
okay. Discussion?
Yes. Am I recognized, Mr. Mayor?
Ms. Sanchez? Are you,
There's two motions on the table.
There-
Now
yeah.
I'm very confused.
so,
I know what
I know, I
happened.
get it.
I don't know how we're voting. I don't
Yeah,
know what
I get
you're
it.
gonna call
So-
the vote on.
Ms. Glissman is politely setting aside her motion so that Mr. Brady can make a motion in front of her.
And you have my motion.
Most of it, yes.
To accept the resignation as presented, which was,
To accept the offer that was made to us.
okay, which was his previously negotiated settlement package and attorney fees. My concern is 3 weeks paid or unpaid leave. If we go into unpaid leave, I think he has a contract. So if we all of a sudden stop paying him while he is on a contract, that scares me to do that. I don't think that's the right thing to do. The other thing is, the other motion we were discussing was to have the attorneys discuss the negotiation. It was gonna take 3 weeks. Are we really coming out ahead? He has no reason to barter against himself. Like, he's got a negotiated contract. It spells out exactly what should happen. Everything that he says is gonna be giving something up. And then, if there's a termination, so then he's not getting paid. If he's found to be fired for cause, we're now back into the litigation. They've said, they're gonna sue. So we're back into the litigation. This is the painful, but maybe less painful out that I would like to at least have this body consider.
And Mr. Francis or Mr. Graves, either, maybe more geared toward you, Mr. Graves, in terms of the paid or unpaid leave. Is there a valid concern to have an unpaid suspension?
We would deal with any potential damages 3 weeks. We could deal with the severance payment. That would be part of the overall settlement package.
Okay.
If the commission were to decide that it's gonna be unpaid.
Okay.
But you could go either way, paid or unpaid.
Okay.
We would want to have deadline, right? Because then
Yeah,
the
deadline.
incentive would be to just delay.
Yeah. All right, so, but Mr. Brady's motion is to accept the resignation as presented. Mr. Atwood.
One of the main reasons why I support Mr. Brady's motion is I think it saves the city, no offense, but you guys get paid very well. So I think it saves the city money in the long run if there's gonna be negotiations between the attorneys for Bodman 1 and Bodman 2 with Mr. Francis. As I understand it, Bodman 1 is over budget. So you're gonna have to bring that to the commission to get an increase on Bodman 1. Bodman 2 is already up there. As far as cost goes to the city. I feel it'd be in the best interest to figure it out with Mr. Brady's motion. Otherwise, we're just gonna do more cost. And I understand that the majority of the commission might not agree with me on that. That's ultimately your guys' decision, but that's all I'm gonna say. I don't wanna.
To be clear, Mr. Womack's contractual severance is 12 months of pay, that's a year. And that is over $100,000, mid-hundreds. And you feel that that's less than $10,000 engagement, which, by the way, it's not over budget, but we'll be needing to do a wrap-up, probably a work order, not a work order. Miss Hannah, what was that called? A change order, right? For some of the July stuff and today's stuff, if it overlaps with engagement 1, but not so much if it's engagement 2.
And rewriting the bills so that stuff from Bodman 2 gets put on stuff from.
Oh, you saw that they were on there wrongly?
I heard that in order
Okay.
to get to the under the 10,000, that we were gonna have to move things from. whatever
No,
was
that's
the-
not, no,
Well,
that's,
maybe you could let us know
that's
what it
not the
is.
correct framing.
I would love for you to frame it.
It's not so we can get under 10,000. It's because it literally said investigation and Miss Carrie Cahill, investigator, and that's how it was billed. And it was on the wrong engagement. Literally says that on the paper. So,
I didn't
so
get to
we're
see
not
the
gonna
paper,
frame
so
it
it's
as
just-
we're moving things around so that we can make the budget look right. So
Mayor,
I'd
could they-
appreciate you not to do that.
Well, if I would have had
Call
a
the
chance to
question.
see the bills.
Yep, call the question. There we go.
Support.
All right, roll call. Roll call on the call the question.
Can you tell us what, if it's called a question?
Commissioner Petrie.
No.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman.
No.
Commissioner McCarthy.
No.
So we want to discuss the motion more.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, not everybody had a turn. And, you know, it's very interesting that when you guys are going on and saying a lot of things that are untrue, that nobody calls a question or a point of order, but when I'm speaking and correcting mistruths, all of a sudden there's a call to order, or a point of order and call to question. So, to be clear, for the public's sake, the billing was mixed up and there was, it was in clear language that it was intended for engagement 2. And so it's indisputable and it's.
We're discussing the motion on the
It was
floor.
in those words. So to clarify that misframing by Mr. Brady. And I was initially making a comment before that interruption to respond to Mr. Atwood regarding his statements about finance and liability, really, because there's a misunderstanding, or at least a misnomer, as to what kind of money he thinks he's saving to pay 12 months to an employee that that there's an investigation that produced findings that no other employer would make that kind of consideration for. And aside from that, I would be more concerned about the liability of impending litigation that has been threatened by multiple employees due to that behavior that has been substantiated in the investigation. And we've done a little bit of research into that type of behavior, that type of claim that has been substantiated in the investigation by one employee, and then implied by another employee that's considering doing the same thing. And they could be a couple $1 million, but definitely six-figure that we're speaking. But we want to, it seems like we want to squabble over some engagement billing instead and pay someone without any consideration to the complainants that are also threatening litigation if they don't feel that justice is served by this commission. So I would appreciate it if the two of you would stop mischaracterizing the situation that we're in or minimizing the seriousness of it. Mr. Atwood.
Sir, I'm not.
Hold on. You've already gone. Ms. Glissman had her hand up. She has not gone yet.
I just want a bit of information. What will it cost us with the salary and any other things for Mr. Womack to present? What is the total figure?
Mr. Francis, are you able to answer that?
I do not know his salary, Mayor. The contract, as you indicated, was 12 months. I don't know what his attorney fees are, and then there were, I don't know if he has vacation days or that sort of thing that need to be paid out.
Ms. McCarthy.
I have all the contracts in front of me. The addendum that I see here that I think I'm reading correctly, because again, they're kind of splotchy, they're in parts. This was the 25th of October, 2023. The next addendum came through in 2025, June of 2025. In this one, it says, the employer shall provide a minimum severance pay equal to, it was 7, it was moved to 12 months total compensation. That was the addendum. At the then current rate of pay, total compensation includes the following: salary, vacation, vehicle allowance, life insurance, medical insurance, and all other forms of compensation in place at the time of termination. And then it's to be paid in a lump sum unless otherwise agreed to by the employer and the employee. And the employee shall also be compensated for all accrued vacation time. That's for that last one. I believe that there was additional things, additional weeks, months asked for in the third addendum, which the commission did not approve. I think it was item 8 of the third addendum. I just want to say, in comparison to this, I just think it's real important that we had a city manager who was here for 18 years. Say, oh, that's a moot point, why does it matter? Because we're talking about this. And that city manager for 18 years had an at-will with no 4-clause items in his contract. And for all 18 years, he had a 6-month severance pay, period, end of story, 6 months, 18 years of employment here. So that's, again, this contract signed. He brought it up, you guys voted. Well, no one up here except one person voted for this, so bingo, it's all there, but only one person voted for it. No one else here has ever voted for this. But it's here, it's contractual. So I just, in comparison, that's it. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the salary, the vacation, the vehicle, the insurance, you're looking at a large sum of money that is not what he just gave. It's gonna be much, much larger. We are also, I just have to tell you, there is seriousness in the investigation. Seriousness. And there are multiple people based on that investigation that can come back and sue the city. So what we do here may impact or influence what they decide to do, those employees, what they may decide to do. So it's a two-sided sword that we're dealing with here. That we gotta take consideration on both sides, I would believe. I'm done, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Brady?
Probably at least a part of the reason why our current city manager felt the need to do that was because almost this exact same thing happened to the previous person. The Mr. Womack offered in November to just leave quietly. Probably should have taken him up on that.
Mr. Brady, did the previous city manager get accused of something that could potentially bring other lawsuits onto the city? You just said it was the exact same thing. That's why Mr. Womack felt the need to create such a contract. I need to understand, you said it was the exact same thing. So the previous city manager was accused and we received a report that is very meaningful and implies that there could potentially be other lawsuits as a result of that city manager's behavior. Is that what I understand you to be saying? These are not apples to apples comparisons, and I need clarification. Can you please give it? I take that as you choose not to, or you understand that you made another mischaracterization in comparison.
Oh, jeez.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Ms. McCarthy.
It is my understanding that the past city manager did not have any investigation. He did not have any pending lawsuits. There was a disagreement of style and management between the then seated commission and that city manager. He chose, rather than to go through this, he chose to negotiate to leave. And again, you know, it was 6 months severance, so I'm not sure if he got all of it or whatever, and he left. Not the same, it's not apples to apples at all. And so it's a different situation. I know it's kind of easy to say it's just two city managers and it's two ways of, you know, city managers leaving, and those are very similar. But that's not what happened in that one specifically. It had definitely different circumstances than this one. Just
Mr. Mayor, I'm willing to explain my thought process if you care to hear it.
No, you've gone twice. I did care to hear it, and I asked you a question.
You tried to put words in my mouth.
I didn't put words in your mouth. I asked you a question. You chose not to answer it.
I'm
Ms.
pretty sure
McCarthy
Mr.
decided
Womack
she had some
was
insight.
getting hired.
There's a point of
He saw
order.
what
There's a
happened.
point of order that I'm going to rule on, Mr. Brady. There's a point of order.
Dilatory conversation, comments, just.
Is that the ruling of the mayor pro tem?
Is it dilatory or just?
You know what, let me do this one. How about Robert's Rules of Order 19 and 43, repeatedly interrupting speakers?
Okay, I will uphold that point of order, Mr. Brady. I find you to be in violation of Robert's rules that was cited by Ms. Petrie. Please, Ramona, if you need that for your documentation, see Ms. Petrie after the meeting. All right, so unless there's any other discussion, Mr. Atwood.
I would just like to point out that I got chastised earlier for bringing up the past city manager in regards to this. And Ms. McCarthy continues to bring up the past city manager. I was there, and it was not 6 months severance. It was a pretty good sum to leave. And I feel like at this point, we would have been better off offering Mr. Womack, who has obvious tension between you and the commission, a severance to leave months ago instead of doing the investigation. The investigation started with the premise of SH. Okay? That's when you called me, you told me that's what it was, and I agreed. Yes, absolutely, something like that has to be investigated. It turns out that that was just the foot in the door to find something. They found something. Now, I believe Brady has brought it up, I brought it up, that something has to happen, whether it be corrective action or what we have on the table, or we keep the city manager and we move forward with corrective action, which would protect our staff from any retribution or fear tactics by the city manager. Those were rules that could be put in place. Mr. Womack had made suggestions about that in his thing. I'm gonna go back to the point of the end result is that I feel the commission and the mayor, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was termination for cause. We're past that point now where we have a bridge here. We're deliberating, we keep gaslighting one another. And again, you guys have gaslit me on the record again and again and again, whether you agree with that or not. So can we please move forward, because we still have to figure out what we're doing. And we have an interim manager who has said she just wants to be here for 3 weeks, meaning we're not gonna have one from the decision that we make tonight. And if we continue to dance around this and try and make it clear to the public that, oh, you know, we didn't have this, you know, you're mischaracterizing my whatever, the timeline's there, the videos are there, the public can decide for themselves. We need to figure this out promptly, stop the name calling, stop the gaslighting, and just get this done. I mean, why do we have to go around? The Bodman is over budget, that's the truth. And that will come out, the public will find out how much we've spent on this, and they're gonna be able to judge how much. So, can we please move on? We had to call the question, and nothing really happened here besides going back and forth, and Commissioner McCarthy brought up the past city manager, which I also did, and I got in trouble for doing so. So let's figure this out. We can turn this motion down. You guys can make a new motion, or we can figure out the severance now and move on. Or we can have the attorneys figure this out and spend more money. Just, we don't have to keep going. We can figure it out within 10 minutes.
All right, Mr. Atwood, are you done? Ms.
Yes,
Petrie?
call the question. Are we allowed to call the question twice?
No.
Mr. Francis, can we call the question twice?
Mayor, I would have to look at it. I do not know the answer to that off the top of my head.
Go ahead.
Commissioner. There's no support.
There's no support? You can continue to look it up, Mr. Francis, just in case we have to come across it again later, but there's no support anyways. Mr. Atwood, I love that you just acknowledged that I called you and asked your advice on something, because you.
We don't need to get into the weeds again on this.
You've made it.
Call the
clear-
question.
You've made it clear in the past in your misframings and mischaracterizations that I never call you. But anyhow.
You called and left a message, and I called you back.
Yeah, I call and leave both of you many messages, but you're the only one who's ever called me back on one of them. Kudos to you. But
Ms. Petrie,
please don't mischaracterize that I don't.
I did not mischaracterize
Ms.
anything.
Petrie.
Thank you. I believe back in May or June, Mr. Atwood, if I'm correct, you wanted to go ahead with Mr. Womack's review so that it would break his contract. And so
You guys wanted to wait till after the investigation.
No, we had to, that's Mr. Francis told us that, so my point, please me. My point is, we are trying to give justice to somebody who made a accusation that we had to do an investigation. I just think that basically saying, like what you just said, that's the first time I heard that in November, he offered to resign. I've never heard that. In November, I think, like when in November, before the election, I've never heard that he was gonna resign and that he just, so that was news. When you said that,
I
or
didn't
Steph,
say that.
whoever said that, yeah, there's lots of information that I haven't gotten, that I think other people have, and I never heard that. I never heard
Would you
that.
like the context?
Well, who told you?
Would you, can I answer the context for it?
Yeah.
It was probably like really early on. I'm thinking like seating chart time. And I know, November, it was early.
So did
And
he tell you?
no, it was an email that said, if you'd like to get rid, this was probably in the review. If you'd like to get rid of me, we can negotiate that, was his words.
You actually are close, but I actually know the real context, and it's actually in his performance evaluation, and so it's public information. It's already out there, but it was in context of me asking Mr. Francis for our labor attorney contact information that we had discussed after a meeting one night.
All of this, the whole thing.
And so I asked Mr. Francis for the labor attorney's information, and he offered up his partner, Mr. Shouty, and Bodman Group as the previous city's HR or labor attorneys. And Mr. Womack was CC'd in that. Now, there was no, hey, we're gonna fire you, hey, we're looking for stuff or anything. It was a simple labor question about contact information so that I can get some guidance on an issue.
You could see where it was going.
And
Point of order.
in the performance eval sustained, you don't have the floor. I don't know what rule that is right now offhand, Ramona.
Interrupting.
But Mr. Brady is out of
I don't
order.
remember the chair getting
I-
the floor.
I'm upholding, I will wait for Ms. Sanchez. Okay. Miss Hannah, please.
Thank you.
Ms. Hannah, I'm sustaining the point of order of Ms. Petrie's point of order. Mr. Brady is out of order, not recognized by the chair. And so in asking a legitimate question of contact information, Mr. Womack's response was, I don't know what you think you are doing, but you have no right to fire me for cause. And if you think you're gonna do so, it will cost the city a lot of money, and I can just negotiate. You can pay my severance and negotiate. It was to that effect. Some of it is verbatim, some of it is paraphrasing, but he basically threatened the city with litigation over the mayor asking for council contact information without knowing the context. That is what I think you're referring to when you guys are speaking of he offered to take a severance and leave. And it's in the performance evaluation. It's documented. The context is even documented, that it was a simple request for contact information. And that was the explosive response that was received. The way it was worded, you just cannot read it any other way. It was threatening. And for what? For what? For what? Under what premise? We don't know, but that is what we normally experience in communications with our current employee. And that is kind of the reason we're in this situation right now, because I'm not the only one who experiences that. So.
Right, so, Mr. Mayor.
Can I have one?
All of you are at 2, and I know we're well over 30 minutes, and I know we've traditionally, as a commission, have taken special meetings, especially of this nature and subject matter, beyond the 30 minutes and beyond the 2 turns. If I make the exception for you, I'm gonna make the exception for the others, so go right ahead.
I just have a question to Ms. McCarthy, since you have the contract. Can you tell me the date that the first amendment was made? I believe it was to increase his severance pay. It was the first one, in 23, just the
Yeah.
date.
Let me just go. So the first contract.
First amendment.
I know what you're asking.
Okay.
Just bear with me here a second. Bear with me, girly. The first contract was beginning May 8th, 2023, but it was signed in March of 2023. The first amendment was then brought to the commission October 25th of 2023, so less than 6 months, maybe 6 months after that.
But, so that was before the 3 of us. were
Yes,
not-
none of-
days before the election.
Days
The
before the
severance
election.
was increased.
This would be 10 days before the decision
I
of
want
you
to
guys
just
being
verify
elected.
that. So the severance was increased a few days before the election.
Yes. And then, there was a second amendment on July 9th of 2024, and a third amendment on June 4th of 2025. But the first amendment happened within a 6-month period of the initial employment contract and days before the 2023 commission was elected to be seated.
Thank you.
Ms. Glissman?
I would like to ask a question to Mr. Francis.
Yes. Go right ahead.
What are the financial ramifications to the city if Mr. Brady's motion is passed? And that includes his contractual verbiage.
The direct ramifications are 12 months of Mr. Womack's total compensation, inclusive of salary, vacation, allowance, life insurance, medical insurance, vehicle allowance, and any other form of compensation, plus his attorney fee, which was part of the proposal, and all accrued vacation time. I do not know what that dollar amount is.
I think what I meant by the ramification is there going to be other legal problems because of the employees who have
I would have no way to know what other employees or former employees would do or not do in that situation.
Miss McCarthy, you were going through your contract over there. I happen to have some of that same information and an email thread, and I just want to clarify one of those severance, because the question was asked, and also a statement was made that was incorrect, and I'd like to correct that for the record as well. But I have here a 7-page email. When you print it out, it's 7 pages from Mr. Womack before he was hired and the contract was signed, where he was up till 1 a.m, it says here, making changes to the contract. On page 7, section 8, I modified the severance term from 6 months to 7 months, and the after election clause from 9 to 10 months. That was the first amendment, and actually it's not an amendment, he actually changed contract before it was ever even a contract, it was signed. But just the recognition that the previous contract was 6 and that he was bumping it to 7, that kind of corrects what was said on record that the previous city manager did not have a 6-month severance, which is false. According to this, it's being modified here. And then it continues to get modified. From your point, you were missing that part, and then you had the rest where it continues to increase and get amended. But anyhow, there's a request to have a recess for probably for people to use the restroom. And I'd like to find out if the commission wants to make that call. Mr. Brady?
Take a recess.
Second.
You moved?
I was
Second.
recognized.
I did recognize you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say it now, and then whatever happens after that. Lawsuits are unsure and possible, right? And to me, this is triage. This is an action. I'm ready to move past Mr. Womack as our city manager. I think that's the will of the commission, as I understand it. I think that's the inevitable outcome here. I think that's gonna happen. The question is, are we going to move forward? And are we going to look for our next city manager and put this city in some peace of mind that this is done? Or are we gonna drag this out for 3 more weeks? And are we gonna go into this? This has gone on for a long time. And what I'm saying is, my motion is that I think this is an action. This is a response. And that we can move on from this. Thank you.
All right.
As we leave.
So you had, and who seconded?
Second.
All right. Moved by Commissioner Petrie for a recess and Commissioner McCarthy to support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. We'll, 10 minutes.
Can't let it carry out.
Recess. So Mr. Brady, I think you were the last to speak on the motion that you have on the table. Second, Mr. Atwood. Is there any further discussion before we go to vote? All right, take a roll call. Mr. Brady's motion, Ramona, could you please repeat it?
To accept the resignation of Mr. Womack made to us and to pay his severance and attorney fees.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Petrie,
No.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glissman,
No.
Commissioner McCarthy.
No.
Motion fails.
I'd like to make Mr. Francis's move, but I just want to add to that. I'd like it to be 6 months. We don't have 6 months with just his pay, not all that goes with it, not what's.
Commissioner Petrie, there's no, that would have to be
Oh,
something
I
that
have to do-
accepted Mr.
okay.
Womack.
That's
Okay.
negotiation, so.
Okay,
what
but,
Mr.
but so is yours still 3 weeks away? Is
No,
that-
mine was to table to the date to be determined by the commission.
Which was the 31st?
31st would have been a special, and schedule a special meeting on August 31st.
So
three
next
weeks.
regular at
Or the
September
next-
8th, that would be 4. And then you said,
Then there would have to be, you could either do a second motion or combine it to this about whether it would be with or without pay.
I have to, I just,
Go ahead.
delete. I'm just, because it affects voting and everything else, especially if you wanna go into a closed meeting. I'm on vacation from August 3rd, 29th through the 9th of September. I'm on a boat, on a river, in another country. You can't be here. So I'm just, you guys, like, we did one without her here, I'm just letting you know. I'm not here.
Ms. Glissman, you put a motion aside in order for Mr. Brady to make his motion. I probably should have started there instead of giving the floor away. Are you still inclined to move forward with the motion that Mr. Francis set up for you?
Yes.
Okay, and you had a second, I don't remember who that was.
Support.
Support. Now, did you,
I think there needs to be a date.
did you work on the date, first of all, in terms of the motion, which one, September 8th or August 31st? And then also, whether or not you wanted to add the with or without pay to your motion or have that separate?
I have it separately.
Okay, that will be separate. And then what about the date?
Is our, August the 24th too soon? When are you leaving again, Lenny?
I'm around August 24th, I leave the 29th through the 9th, I will be back sometime the evening of the 9th if the flight's all covered.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Graves gave you a thumbs up for the 24th as well.
24th?
24th.
Okay. So that would be our next regular, no.
That'd be a regular meeting.
No.
No,
No.
no, great.
Our next is 17th.
Right, we're at special meeting.
Wait, remote, do we have ZBA?
It's at 6 p.m. The ZBA meeting.
So on the 24th.
Correct.
This would be a 4. This would be a 4, okay.
All right.
Ramona, can we have you repeat the motion?
I can repeat to you what I have.
Okay.
Was to table the disciplinary decision until now, August 24th, and direct the attorney to negotiate a settlement and set a special meeting for August 24th, 2026,
Okay. And just,
at 4 p.m.
all right, very good. And please use the word postpone instead of table.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any discussion? Mr. Brady?
It says attorneys. Can we clarify that?
Mr. Francis, was that the correct language, attorneys?
I would defer to Mr. Graves regardless of whether it says attorneys, or I defer to Bodman regardless of whether it says attorneys or attorney.
Can we clarify?
I think it would be two of us negotiating the settlement, so.
Okay. Plural. Plural. Very good. Any other discussion?
Maybe a follow-up would just be, how are we paying for that?
Mr. Howard?
Yes, I have a question for Ramona. As this was brought up under the previous motion in regards to the past city manager's contract compared to this one and some changes made. Could you go through the 10th, 11th, and 12th addendum to those contracts and the dates? Specifically, I don't have to do it all, but emphasize what changes were made to his contract. And then specifically, addendum 12, what city manager received.
I don't have this contract.
We don't have his contract.
Not germane to.
We have a point of order.
It's germane.
I'm sorry, the question is, again?
How much did the past city manager receive in his,
Oh, wait. I don't think I understood your.
the past city manager?
Yeah, I'm gonna uphold the point of order, as not being germane. Because the motion on the table is to direct the attorneys to negotiate a settlement and, postpone the decision for Mr. Womack's disciplinary action. I don't believe that discussing the previous city manager's contract is germane to the motion, so I will uphold that. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Brady?
I kind of do want to know what direction we're giving to Bodman. Like, here we are sitting at the table, what direction are we, what are we trying to get them to get to with this contract?
Mr. Graves, is that a question that is open for deliberation inside of an open meeting, or is that, how would you advise?
Very difficult, puts me in a bad position to negotiate with Mr. Schwartz when, if you put handcuffs on me here in a meeting. So I would try to do the best I can and then come back with you, and you guys would either agree or say, no, we don't agree.
I guess the point of my question, I have very little confidence in Bodman PLC as a attorney group. I'm sure they can handle this, but they are getting paid during the process. Is there a cap of how much negotiation and billable hours and, I mean, it doesn't make sense to save $10,000 if it costs you $20,000, is what I'm trying to say. Do we want to give them limits or boundaries, or do we want, you know what, never mind. You guys can do that if you want to.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Any other discussion? All right. That's it. Let's go to roll call. Motion.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie.
Can you please repeat it one more time, because I just want to make sure of what I wrote here. Sorry.
To postpone the disciplinary decision until August 24th, 2026, and direct the attorneys to negotiate a settlement and set a special meeting for August 24th at 4 p.m.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now, there's the matter, there's two different matters. There's the matter of what do we do with Mr. Womack till the 24th? And what do we do in his absence, if that's the decision? Who had it up first?
Well, I've had it up and down, but let him go, see what he has to say.
Mr. Atwood.
I would like to ask the attorney if that is allowable under this special meeting to figure out the interim city manager.
Yes, I think you have to.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. McCarthy.
I would like to ask either Mr. Francis or Mr. Graves. I think the other issue was if he's going to continue suspension, is it paid or unpaid? And someone here, I believe it was Mr. Atwood, said, well, that could breach a contract, it might have been you, Mr. Brady, I apologize, could breach a contract in some way. I didn't see something like that in the contract, so my clarity is, if you say unpaid, we paid for 3 weeks, but unpaid, is that a breach of a contract somewhere that in some way is a penalty to us? I just need to understand it as we go forward to make the vote. That's not necessarily the motion, I'm trying just to understand the issue.
Mr. Graves.
You could continue him on his, I think he's on a paid administrative
Yes.
leave right now. So you could continue him on the paid administrative leave, obviously that would not breach the contract. If you said you're gonna be on an unpaid leave, it's not addressed, an unpaid leave is not addressed in the contract. He would not be terminated. But because it's not addressed in the contract, he can claim you owe me the wages, and that's part of, would be a contract claim. We could resolve that in any negotiations as part of a separation or a continuation or whatever is decided. So you could do it either way. The only liability would be those weeks he was not paid, so you're not adding anything else. There's no punitive damages for that.
Thank you so much, just so when you make your decision. Thank you.
Just paid.
Are you looking for a motion?
Yes.
I guess I'm gonna be making a motion,
All right.
because I'd like to.
Proceed.
I would like to move that we continue the suspension of Mr. Womack until August 24th with a paid leave. Okay.
I heard both of you at the same time, Mr. Atwood. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner McCarthy, support by Commissioner Atwood for a paid suspension until the 24th. Discussion. All right, we'll talk roll call.
I'll make a recommendation.
Yes.
Did we continue the same administrative leave that he's on now?
Yes.
As
With all the-
opposed to a suspension?
I think, yeah.
Oh, do I make a friendly modification to that?
Yep.
And so we want to have him on his continued
Continue his paid administrative leave.
with a paid administration leave instead of a suspension.
Correct.
Continuous.
Continued
Continued administrative.
administrative, paid administrative leave until August 24th. Thank you.
All right, any discussion?
Just clarification that that includes all of the attachments that went with it. No phone, don't right to the building, etc.
Do we have to add that into that?
It's a
Well,
continuation
if
of
it's a
the prior
continuation,
lease, so the
yeah.
same rules should apply.
Any other discussion?
Can you remind me who was the support?
That would be Mr. Abbott.
Thank you. Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
No.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right. Unless there's any other business.
Mr. Mayor.
B2,
Acting city manager.
Acting city interim, there we go. We'll need a motion for that as well.
I guess I make them.
I'm a little, how do we make a motion? We can't, I don't think we can just randomly pick an interim unless they. Kelly's expressed, I'm sorry, Ms. Hannah's expressed that she just wanted to do 3 weeks and was very strict.
Ms. Hannah, you and I have discussed this a little bit over the past couple of weeks. I believe that you were, you had some suggestions that you wanted to present to the commission. Are you prepared for that, or?
I would suggest at this time that you name Police Chief Howe as acting city manager for the next couple weeks, which will give the commission time to decide if you're appoint him longer or look for an interim city manager somewhere else.
Very good. Mr. Howe.
I make a motion to make Chief Howe the interim city manager with the same stipend that Ms. Hannah has been received.
Mr. Mayor, before we get to a second, can we have that rephrased as acting city manager instead of interim?
Sorry, acting.
And can you confirm with Chief Howe that he'd be willing to do it before we get too far down?
Well, it hasn't been seconded. Mr. Howe, would you accept that offer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie. Yes. Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Motion carries. Any other business? Mr. Francis?
None, Mayor.
Mr. Graves? Anything that we're missing? No? Okay. All right. With that, we adjourn the meeting.
I know, I was just gonna text my family group chat. I know. I'm gonna go home and lock the door.
I know. I'm gonna go home and.
I can't wait to go to it.